check that out. But okay, that's it for us. I'm going to go do a couple laps, and we'll be back at 2 p.m. So for now, join Sharif, join Joseph, and we will start talking all about midday madness with the boys. See you then.
We'll get them.
Boom! What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. That is your boy, Joey Dang Options.
Dang.
There we go. And we got an options lesson.
We got an options lesson, man. The options week, man.
Oh, okay, I see you. Let's shout out everybody. Joseph, let's see who we got in the house. Shout out to Brandon G, Freaking Bill. Okay. Nicholas Wolf, AK, Mike Davis, Arch Gamer. We got Bot Ricks. We got Hytham. We got Divine, Devin, and Rainmaker. How about why not an Echo Max? Redneck XRP. Tell me which crypto you like, my man. Apple G King, Stevenson, ATM. We got Covalence, and we got Mr. China himself. Shout out to Oze and Sealy. We got Sean and Neil. We got Grateful for Bitcoin. I love that name. Shout out to the world's greatest mod as well. Bears versus Dang Bulls. And you come for Bears versus Bulls, you come for me and Joseph, just so you know, the person in the chat there. You know who you are. Paul Van Ness. We got Random Scene, Julie B, and Sage Might. Medical Marinara. That was one of my faves. We got Fiddleback. We got Diggity Jacobs. How about Tark? How about Safe? We got Joe Dub. Dino. One more here. Alvaro Mario Sosa. I lied, Joseph. I'm going to do another one. JVG. I see you, sir. Good morning to everybody. Joseph, what do you got over there, my man?
Yeah, man. We're just cooking up in some Nvidia right now, looking for that potential bounce. But guys, it's been a couple tough weeks here in the market. So continuing to move to the south side. Tariff Tuesday. Never mind Taco Tuesday. You can eat some tariffs instead. Everybody can eat some. But here we go, guys. Market continuing to bleed. We got Nvidia down about 1.8% here, closer to 2. And then we have a lot of the Mag 7 just getting walloped here, guys. So it's a tough look. Sharif, we got a lesson on some put-to-call ratio today. Anything you'd like to touch on?
Yeah, we're just going to show them real quick over here, the small cap gappers that we got in view, Ram. You know, Neil called this out, and rightfully so. MLGO, the best-looking one, but it's only up 6%. That's the thing. We're really grasping at straws today in terms of small cappers. I'm going to keep my eye on MLGO. That's the top left corner of your screen there. Mullen showed up 11%. We'll see if that one has any legs. EU, I will in 1 second, Ram. EU, guys, looking real good here. A dollar stock, $1.36 low, $1.61 high. But FAZ up 11.5%. Really not much to talk about today. Last but not least, TVGN, light volume, but good chart pattern, 17.75% to the high side. Yeah, we're going to give this one the old college try. I'm going to try to find small cap gappers that are moving on the day, but, you know, we'll do what we can, but we got a sick lesson for you. Trudeau is about to speak soon. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to hold a press conference, likely about, obviously, Tariff Tuesday.
All right, guys, let's get right into this stuff here. Today we're going to be talking about some put-to-call ratios. We'll call this one a little advanced options. I had fun with this one, so let's get right into this stuff here, guys. All right, guys. So the put-to-call ratio, or the PCR, is a widely used sentiment indicator in the options market that helps traders assess whether market participants are leaning bullish or bearish. It measures the volume or open interest of put options relative to call options. Well, I believe we know where the... Yeah, I know. I don't know why... okay, I don't know why it doesn't go away. I tried. It doesn't...
I tried so hard.
Okay, yeah, we'll fix that later, guys. So anyways, so this basic formula, so it's the total put volume divided by the total call volume. We'll work on that bottom taskbar there in a second. So put options, contracts that give the holder the right to sell an asset at a specific price, bearish. We know that. Call options that give the contract gives the holder the right to buy an asset at a specific price, is bullish sentiment. So a higher PCR greater than 1 means more puts are being traded than calls, signaling a bearish sentiment. A lower PCR less than 1 means more calls are being traded, suggesting bullish sentiment. We're going to send it off to Adair real quick, and then we'll jump right back into that.
Sir.
We have news here, UNH on watch, like more than on watch, a nice little pop here. Seeing some reports on X here that apparently the company has won a favorable finding in a Medicare fraud case. I don't have more information than that, but it's worth noting, in case you've missed it, they've been on watch a lot lately with regards to Medicare fraud accusations and suits, both from the SEC and from a group run by someone in the Senate. So UNH here reportedly winning a Medicare, or at least having a favorable finding in a Medicare fraud case. If I see anything else, I'll let you know. But this name on watch, back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. So let's just take a quick dive into how the put-to-call ratio works. So if we pull up my chart here, my screen here, we can see that in market price decline.
Screen, please.
There we go. Market price decline, you can see the spike in the PCR. Very important here. So a greater than 1 put-to-call ratio would suggest or implement that, hey, we are buying more puts than calls. So then as we slowly start to go on the incline, you can see that put-to-call ratio fall below 1, and then you get that market price rally, all right? So how traders use the put-to-call ratio. 1, it's a sentiment indicator for market direction. So a PCR greater than 1, a put-to-call ratio greater than 1 means more puts than calls. Bearish sentiment, okay? A PCR less than 1 means more calls than puts, bullish sentiment. A PCR equal to 1, which is extremely hard to achieve, balance between puts and calls, neutral sentiments, all right? So you usually don't get that 1. They say an average is about 0.7, and you want to gauge from 0.7. Anything north of 0.7, we can classify as slightly bearish. Anything south of that, we can classify as slightly bullish, all right? So example, if the PCR spikes sharply, it might suggest excessive fear in the market, which contrarian traders might see as a potential buying opportunity, okay? So we got to keep that in mind. So we'll send it in there in 1 second, but we got to keep that in mind that when we have a higher put to call ratio, so traders are buying more puts, that means there's an opposite side of that trade, okay? So someone is long in that aspect, and we need to take that into consideration. We're going to send it off to Adara real quick.
Get it, Adara.
Keep an eye on this here. This is GEV. I'm just seeing Bloomberg reporting that GE, Vernova, and Amazon Web Services have signed a data center agreement. So data center agreement between GEV and AMZN. Keep an eye on both their tickers. Sorry for the interruption. A lot of news today, so that might happen more, guys.
You're good.
Yeah. No, if anything comes in, we're all right with that. So the contrarian indicator, mean reversion strategy, OB101. Sorry, I gotta pop out of this trade here. There.
Get excited.
Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, so OB101 here. So the PCR is often used as a contrarian indicator because extreme readings tend to indicate that a reversal is near. So you guys know that we have an RSI video. There he is. The guy's locked in. He's locked in. Yeah, he's always locked in. Yeah,
he's headphones on.
Yeah,
he's
typing in. Yeah,
zoom in on his position.
Yeah, no, definitely don't do that. But anyways, guys, having fun with it. So it's often used as a contrarian indicator. So when we reach oversold and overbought territories, that's where you can see those mean reversion trades start to implement. And that's what the RSI video on the Trader TV live channel is about as well too. So this is just the options RSI essentially. So higher PCR of greater than 1.2 to 1.5 indicates an extreme fear, meaning the market could be oversold. Bullish reversals possible, okay? So a lower PCR of less than 0.6 to 0.4, indicates excessive optimism, meaning the market could be overbought. Bearish reversal possible, okay? So example, if the S&P 500 has a PCR of 1.5, it may indicate that traders are buying too many puts out of fear. A contrarian trader might look for long opportunities expecting a market bounce, kind of like the sentiment that we are currently in right now.
Just keep us up.
Okay, so number 3, we're gonna go to Adair in 1 second. Trend confirmation, momentum strategy. Traders use the PCR with price trends to confirm strength. PCR rising while prices are falling confirms bearish trend. PCR falling while prices are rising confirms bullish trend. Example, if a stock is strong uptrend and the PCR remains below 0.8, it suggests that bullish momentum is likely to continue. Adair, what are you up to?
Just keep an eye here on the NASDAQ or the market in general. Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, talking right now, saying that Canadians will not be backing down from a fight. Canada will be imposing 25% tariffs on U.S. imports worth $30 billion. That'll be effective immediately. And then they'll impose 25% tariffs on a further $125 billion worth of U.S. imports in 21 days' time. So in 3 weeks, there'll be an additional round of tariffs here for U.S. goods. But just to recap here, and again, these are all in Canadian dollars. So 30 billion Canadian worth here for 25% tariffs. Then in 21 days, 125 billion Canadian dollars worth of tariffs here, 25% again. So 2 separate rounds of 25% tariffs. First one here, about 30 billion. Next round, almost 4 times that, just actually more than 4 times that. We'll be finding out more about that, I guess, in 21 days. He's still speaking, guys.
Good stuff there. Thank you very much, Adair. So here, guys, this is how we can implement the PCR into current sentiment here. So we know that we're in slightly bearish territory. So this was taken a couple of days ago. And here we go. The RSI is starting to increase as well here on the S&P. So nice look there. So institutional versus retail sentiment. This is really important. Retail traders tend to buy more calls in bull markets and more puts in bear markets, as stating the obvious. Institutional traders often sell options, meaning a higher PCR could indicate that the institutions are selling puts, which is actually bullish. Okay, so when I talk about the opposite side of the trade, there's always gonna be an opposite party, right? So if I'm buying something, someone needs to sell it to me, and vice versa. If I'm selling something, somebody needs to buy it off of me. So, example: if an institutional traders are selling puts heavily, it means they are confident that the market will not fall further. This could be a bullish signal. Okay. So key takeaways, a PCR greater than 1 suggests bear sentiment, but extreme readings can indicate a bullish reversal. PCR less than 1 suggests bullish sentiment, but too low can signal overbought conditions, okay? Keep that in mind. PCR works, put-to-call ratio works best when combined with other technical indicators for better decision-making. Institutional activity matters. Not all high PCR readings are necessarily bearish, okay? So keep that in mind, guys. That is the lesson of the day, the put-to-call ratio. If you have any questions, be sure to put it in the chat. And someone asked me in the chat to do a put-to-call ratio reading on Tesla, and we will do that right after we see Sharif.
All right, guys, we're involved in a couple of positions here. MLGO gave me a couple of outs. I took it at 4. I had a plan to DCA into 393. It's coming back into 4 over here. But here's the deal. The volume weighted average price is at 399. So this DCA into 395, that is not going to be my cup of tea. What I'm going to be waiting for here is to see whether or not we hold prior bar high on the 5-minute. Well, where's that prior bar?
Oh, wow. Oh, no.
Prior bar high at 391. Let's show them the chart. So I'm going to put my stop below that 391 area. If we break that area, then the trade is no longer right for me. I'm looking for higher highs and higher lows. Was able to wet the beak there at 10s. Next, looking for 14s. We'll see what comes of that one. Now this one is trouble. So I punched long into this one after the breach of VWAP. It's having trouble right now making a higher high on the 5. I'm talking about FRGT. Great move up off that low that it found a consolidation low at $140, which was also an interesting area from a technical support perspective. We had kind of popped up there, $140 right at the 9-10 time slot, tested that $140 to the downside, held it. And then we did our best to kind of curl above VWAP, but I think that's the best we could do. All right, so we'll go to Adara in one hot second. I know that Justin Trudeau was talking, so he's dropping all sorts of different pronouncements about reciprocal tariffs, but I'm involved in these two guys. We'll talk about FAZ when we get back from Adara.
We actually do have more Trudeau comments, but there's another thing I want to let you guys know of. I'm seeing reports from CNN that Elon Musk, your CEO of Tesla and also head of the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, apparently he's going to be holding a briefing for House Republicans tomorrow night. So CNN reporting that Elon Musk will be holding a governmental briefing tomorrow night. Keep an eye on Tesla. It looks like it won't be during market hours, but regardless, sometimes Tesla can move on sentiment. So keep an eye on TSLA. I guess that would be for Thursday. But also, with regards to Trudeau, he said, quote, there is absolutely no justification or need whatsoever for these tariffs today. So he's really saying not only will they have reciprocal tariffs, he does not believe these tariffs should have been implemented in the first place, guys. So hard stance on tariffs from Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. Yeah, so I got stopped out of FRGT as we were kind of talking there. Yeah, this one is a breach of VWAP, risk 10 cents, stopped out of that one. Not going to really try this one until and if it can get up and stay above VWAP. I don't mind trading it again, but it's going to have to stay above that volume-weighted average price, especially on a day like this where I'm kind of really having my suspicions about the veracity of some of these small-cap gappers. Now, the other one that I want to keep my eye on, FAZ. Fantastic move up off that buck, let's say, sorry, 5 and a quarter. It looks like it's somewhere in and around there. We closed out yesterday, topped out at 587. You guys see how I'm grasping at straws here? There's not a whole lot moving, but we're going to try to find some stuff. I like this possibly at the volume-weighted average price at 575 for a hold up there. This is one of those ones we're going to have to size in here in order to make any money because you're not really getting much of a notional move. So you're going to have to take big boy shares in order to extract any profitability off these kind of low moving small cap gappers. So FAZ certainly in focus. I'll be waiting at that 573, 574, something like that at around the volume weighted average price. This one keeps putting in higher highs. This one got shellacked yesterday though. EU, not the European Union. Enercore Energy. What's going on up there? Enercore Energy. This one dropped aggressively off that 255. We ended up closing out the day at $1.37. We're trying to recover a little bit right now. So maybe this is one of those ones you want to use fibs to see where kind of the retracement level we're getting into, because I got no support or resistance level for this name above that $1.70. That's the only area we topped out there, and then we dropped and made new lows. So EU in focus. Looks like it's a second day recovery. Adara, what do you got for us?
I have a lot of words here coming from Justin Trudeau. He actually addressed Donald Trump as Donald, saying that we two friends fighting is not good for the world stage. They're supposed to be allied countries, saying that Donald Trump is a dumb or a smart man, but saying, quote, the tariffs were a very dumb thing to do. So Trudeau coming after Trump here. Keep an eye on the market. Still making these lower highs on the NASDAQ. So keep an eye on this. We haven't heard any comments from Donald Trump yet in response, but be aware of that. Again, just to recap, the point of this was for Canada to announce $30 billion, so 25% tariffs on $30 billion Canadian worth of goods. In 21 days, there'll be another 25% tariff, and that'll be on $125 billion Canadian worth of goods. So this tariff, or the scope of the tariff, increases exponentially in 21 days for Canada. So Trudeau is still talking, but that just worth mentioning. He directly called out Donald Trump there, guys. Back to you.
Ooh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, Justin.
Okay.
Yee. Tell him, Ram.
Tell
you
him.
show him your boss around here.
Yeah.
All right, we're involved in FAZ to the high side. Now, this did come into the volume-weighted average price. So I'm setting up. Look, I front-ran it by a couple of pennies. We're in at 79. I already set up a few dip trades at 76 and then 73 for that area low. We'll see if this one wants to hold up. I got stopped out of MLGO for the remaining amount there. Nice little pop-up initially off VWAP, but that's all it could do. It's a lower high and then another lower low, so I don't want any smoke on this one. I'm gonna need some continuity on these, you know what. So look, if we gotta trade these large caps today and trade them to the downside, that's exactly what we're gonna do. But I'm trying my hand at these small cap gappers. I know full well that the Russell is getting shellacked today. 2.4% negative territory, far outperforming the other four major averages to the downside. We got 1.6 on the Dow, 1.4 on the NQ, and 1.7 on the ES. So the Russell getting killed. And if that's going to be the case, maybe these small cap gappers don't really have any upside momentum. We shall have to wait and see. I'm going to give this one the old college try. Joseph, how are you?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing the old community college try here, my guy, on some NVDA. Looking for this balance, but we got to look at these key resistance zones. So we are constructing lower highs, which is really important. We got to attempt one, worked out, then we failed, broke down, entered again, played the exited at the break of that support level, and then now we're going to try to play the break here. But I mean, market sentiment is weak, so We got to be patient. If we break 111.5s, then I'm going to get out of this trade here completely, because then potentially we might break down. So it's not looking pretty good. Apple moving sideways, as well as the overall market as well too, guys. So yeah, we're just going to stick with that. Hold on to this position until otherwise. It looks like we might get stopped out here briefly, and that's okay, because we'll just look for another trade here, guys. So let's see what else we got going on here from an options market standpoint, because we were talking about some gamma this morning, and the reason why I wanted to is just because of the high levels of open interest on the SPY at lower levels. And then the reason why you get those gamma squeezes is when out the money options start to trade in the money, and that's really, really important. So I'm just looking at the options chain now to see if there's anything that is an outlier. We want to see those high levels of open interest, and I'm not seeing that right now. So that's slightly positive. I don't think there's going to be that drastic down move anymore, or on today's session like there was yesterday and on Friday. So just keep that in mind, or previously Thursday, I think it was. So yeah, just keep that in mind, guys. But this Nvidia starting to cook up here for us. If we can break this trend line, then I think we're going to really start buzzing on this trade, and the market might rebound. Some people asked me to take a look at Tesla and the put to call ratio on it. We'll do that shortly, because it's weak. Like, look at this name. It's just continuing to sell. Probably down over 40% now. From those highs, yeah, 45%. So that's a pretty hefty haircut there, Sharif, on Tesla. Yeah, it's not looking too good. We need some positive tailwinds under this name. We know that with tariffs, it's going to hinder margins and growth as well too. So we got to take that into consideration, and what the options market is going to price in. And there might be more potential downside here for the longer term in the markets, especially with everybody pricing in these tariffs. But let's see what Adair's up to.
Trudeau's still speaking currently in French. From my understanding, a lot of what he's saying here is a repeat of what we just heard said in English. So talking a lot about solidarity in the country. Again, if anything of interest is said, I'll let you know. But right now, it just seems like, from what I can hear, that what he's saying in French is a repeat of what was just spoken in English. If I have any updates on this conference further, I will let you know. But right now, he's just continuing to speak. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, bad.
Someone had an interesting chat here, comment in the chat here. Professional traders are looking at this as a buying opportunity, this Tariff war, and I agree with you, right? I believe you're going to get some of these, like especially the Mag 7. I think you're going to get some of them at a good price. I mean, Nvidia touched 109 this morning. Again, you gotta start to look to allocate that stock around those prices. Are we going to head south? Yeah, we got to look at it from a daily perspective and just a technical standpoint as well too, guys, to see where everyone's standing at. And it's not pretty, because we are running into some key support levels and we might breach them. But if you're looking to start to acquire this stock, then averaging in on this name is good. You're going to get the nod from me on that. I don't usually do that from a short-term perspective, but in a long-term, when you're down like this, especially all these Mag 7 names, like down 27% here, down, and you're going to hit that $100 target close to it, then yeah, if I'm looking to buy $5,000 worth, 10,000, whatever it may be, I'm going to start to dabble in a little bit with 1,000 here, 1,000 there, and whatever it may be. But let's see what Adair's up to.
Get it, Adair.
Worth noting, the question and answer part right now of the Trudeau conference is happening. Apparently it'll take place for 20 minutes, and each person will be allowed to ask one question, one follow-up. So 20 minutes here of Trudeau answering questions. If anything of note is said here, I will let you know. He was just asked, though, with regards to, I guess, the origins of the tariffs situation, or his view on the origins. Again, I will keep you posted, but I did want to let you know his prepared remarks have ended as of this point.
Sorry, Neil. It's just the truth. But I say that between you and I, obviously, right? Yeah, just talking to Neil on the side. Guys, there's a new small cap gapper in town. It goes by the ticker IVVD. Thank you, Ram. You're such a troll, bro.
What'd she do?
She's next level stuff. Next level stuff. Guys, $1.25. Come on, Ram. Come on, Ram. I'm trying to trade here, bro.
Trying to trade here, bro.
See what she's doing up there, Dara? $1.25 a high day on IVVD. Shout out to Bovin, pointed this one out to me. I extract a little bit here. I got one out left. If this breaks $1.18, I'm getting out. I would really rather set up towards that $1.10, $1.08. That's where the 10 exponential is hanging out. And I'd like to pick up something in and around there. I don't necessarily, you know how I feel about punching in at highs. It's not really my cup of tea. So there is price action support, not indicator support at $1.14. Okay, that's where we topped off there before we retraced down into 8. And if I had to guess, I basically believe that this could hold up at price action support and resistance. Why do I feel that way? Because when we got to that $1.14, we dropped into that $1.08. Well, what's that $1.08? Well, have a look over here. Price action resistance, we drip down, we clear it, then we come back down and we test that same support area. So I like the $1.14 so much so I'm actually going to play size at that level. So let's go ahead and I'm going to front run it by putting the mid print there. Okay, so we'll see what we get at that $1.14. This is all predicated upon it stopping me out at $1.18 and coming back down on its merry way into that $1.14. But I like it there. I like it more than the $1.20 that I have it at right now. So we'll see what we get there. If it wants to let me in at that level, even better. I'm also involved in this trade right now, FAZ. Not much of a mover, but we talked about these ones really lacking momentum to the high side, 11.85%. It's showing me 85s. I'm long at 80s, 79s, excuse me. So let's see if I get the print here. There's about 1.5 zillion lots waiting at 85, so I probably won't be first in priority on this bad boy, so I'll have to wait for the break there. Now, I should tell you that the high of the day is 87s, and there we go. We get the print. Now we're getting 86s. So let's go ahead and wait at the high of the day break. So I just told you guys 87s is a high day, so I'm going to wait at 89. Let's see if we can get something in and around there. Now, I had these dip trades on FAZ, neither of which filled. I was looking to to get in at price action support, neither of which came in, obviously, to test the level. So I don't know if these are valid anymore. The dip trade I had at 76 and 74, we'll see what the situation is. It's putting in higher lows off VWAP, okay? So it's coming back in, coming close to VWAP, testing the level, but what I'm noticing is you're getting higher lows. So area trough over here into that 572, and then over here we have a 576 area trough. So it's showing you its propensity to trend in the upside. We'll see if that lasts on a day like this. You just never know. Back to IVVD, still a couple of pennies in the money, but that's not what I want, man. I want size at that $1.14. Do you know how to set orders on the mid print? Do I have to use a certain gateway?
Yeah, you have to use a certain gateway.
I hate that. Okay, I don't want to do that. Okay, so if that's fine, I'll just wait at the whole dollar level. We'll put it at that $1.14. If I could front run it at $1.15 too. So that is a situation there. What are you doing up there, bro?
Yeah, they're having a good time there. Yeah. They're having a good time up there, man. So that's it. That's all.
She's a menace to society.
See, the thing is, though, I didn't look in the fridge just yet for that Kit Kat because if I do, then I'll just eat it.
You know what I offered to Adara today?
What?
You know how Ram keeps these energy drinks in the fridge? I'm like, no. Adara, don't walk down the road. Just take Ram Rams.
Just take Ram Rams.
Take Ram Rams. I got you covered. I'll tell her somebody else.
It's much easier that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
Adara, being the kind soul that she is, didn't participate in the.
That's all right. I'm not going to drink it, but I'll eat the Kit Kat bar. Yeah. I eat that. Who leaves one piece of a Kit Kat bar, though?
Ram, that's who, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, she eats half a piece.
No, you ate 3/4 of it, and then you left one bar. All right. Anyway,
oh, wow.
Yeah, good stuff here, guys. Oh,
where did you come into play over there?
Okay, I see how it is. I see how it is.
Okay.
But yeah, guys, here we go. Forming some lower highs here, or higher lows as well. NVDA prices starting to compress. Looking to play this break. But what we need, guys, and you know what I'm going to say, is we're going to have this volume step in and punch through in order for us to break through this downtrend here, these higher lows, or these lower highs, sorry, and then continue to the top side. But it's not looking good with the likes of Apple and some of these big names starting to pull in. So if we break 1150, we're going to get out of this trade and we're going to have to find something else here. I was trading some TSLA earlier as well. But again, just we continuing that downwards momentum, not looking good in this name. So from the pre-market, just a slow bleed. You can't cover this wound here on Tesla because eventually it's just going to bleed out. And at what point is it going to stop? So let's take a look from a daily standpoint and see what we got going on Tesla, because all of those gains from the election are now gone, and we're heading back into this breakout range, which isn't looking pretty whatsoever. So 45% from peak to trough there, 46 to be exact there, Sharif. Not a good look. I know a lot of people in the chat were saying, hey, I got out of the position, I got out. My buddy Greg was like, I got out at 300. Congratulations to you, because I'm still sitting in it. So we might have to reassess kind of what's going on in the long term and try to get some of these names, lock in some of that unrealized, and then see if we can get a little bit more of a discount. Because I was watching just some news last night and reading some articles on the fact that we still may be underpricing this move coming into the market, especially we don't know how much these tariffs are going to hinder earnings growth. And we know that that is extremely important. So we are starting to price in some of that decline in that decay. So how much lower can we go is the question. But let's see what's going on in the overall market as well too here, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
Because that's going to be equally important. And I talked about key support levels in these names. And look at here, we opened below them. We marked this out yesterday, guys. And this might be the next potential target, 478.32. So not a pretty look in the broader market here, my friend.
Yeah, sorry, just
no worries. You got to put some stuff in there. So yeah, one thing that I also wanted to note is that last week we had some record open interest in the options market on the SPY. And that was on the put side, which is extremely important. So that's why we can get those gamma squeeze kind of effects. And then we were talking about this morning. And the fact is that, okay, when we have all these out the money options and then those options start to go in the money, that's when gamma's at its greatest. And that's where you see that options price really start to accelerate. And then that's where you get that crazy momentum in either direction, which we'll talk a lot more options right after my guy.
I appreciate that, Joseph. All right, IVVD is defending that 20 penny area. There's 2 5-minute candles that bounce off $1.20 on IVVD. So it's holding up that area. This could be the bull flag formation where we get that big boy break through that $1.10. We top it at $1.27, then we kind of move sideways to create the flag. If that's going to be the case, then I could be certainly persuaded to build a little bit more of the position in the low 20s. I don't have to pick up 20 exactly. I can pick up 21s, 22s, something like that. We'll see. I still have I still am holding out hope for a $1.14 retracement. That would be the most ideal of the bunch. Now, this bad boy over here, FAZ, continues to put in higher highs. But look at this. So it's at day's highs right now. It printed 87s. Everything's fine. But it's having trouble with this area. And there is a substantial amount of size, both at the 86 level and, the 87 level. I'm talking about 86 pennies and 87 pennies. So I am holding out hope for a pop into my level there. I'm front running 90 at 89s. We'll see if we can take out the sellers at 86. We just took out a huge seller at 86, but true to form, they reinstituted their position with the same amount of size. It was about 3,000 lots, give or take, on ARB and ARCX, the gateways that you see on the top over here. So we're going to watch this one. But the story right now is about grrr. It's mad about these tariffs, baby, because it's headed to the high side. Good move up on GRR. It is up 15%. It just took out $36, Joseph, and now it's squeezing into $37 is how this bad boy moves.
Dang.
Which got me suspecting whether this has got a big short float. Well, 14.4% says Trade Ideas on a float of 11 million shares. Not a bad look, certainly. I'd like it more around that 35 1/3. It will have to retrace aggressively. Talking dollars here, $1.50, give or take, for me to want to weasel in, because that's where the 10 exponential moving average is, and this is a bit more expensive. So we're going to pack our patience over here. I've got my eyes on GRRR. It's a former runner. It's one that we always joke about because of the ticker. We call it GRR, so I don't even need to look on the daily. I already know it's a former runner. And that makes a difference to me, because if it's got a history of making these big boy moves intraday, well then, gives me an opportunity to set up on it. It's not something, that I'm going to hold overnight, obviously. So we're keeping tabs on that right now. GRRR in focus. But as I see it, FAZ is coming down again. Now I'm going to take this opportunity here on FAZ to get back in. All right, so I got in a couple of shekels above the area low. Now, if this is going to hold trend, which it is, it's showing you the higher lows and the higher highs, not by much, but it's doing it. So I don't mind reinstituting my position on this, either at 579, 580. Let's go ahead and wait at 581. I'm going to wait at 581 for an area add over here. We'll see what we get, and we will not get upset. Let's go over here back to GER. GER's breaking out. Okay, so just took out another high day there, 37.20 now, HOD on GRRR. It's going to earn its way onto the side chart over here so we can keep an eye on it. Yeah, this is one of those ones where I'm getting, where you want to punch in at the highs, but the rules are that that's no good. So I'm gonna steer clear of that. Now, Mullen, I told you guys about MULN up almost 21%. It was putting in, the reason I didn't talk a whole lot about it, it was putting in these lower highs with this flat bottom. So I was of the opinion that this was gonna flat bottom, break and revert like the overall market. Now, it gave me a gesture similar to the one that Ram gives me on occasion. It was putting in lower highs and then it ended up taking out the top, right? And then now it's rejecting 250 with that 255 high. So I don't mind testing this one right at that breakout area, that 2 1/3, maybe a little bit too high 30s, something like that. MULN in focus. And I don't even know why it's moving up. You'd think tariffs would hurt this bad boy as well, but maybe they don't sell enough cars for it to be any sort of,
any impact.
Right, Neil?
Yeah, any greater impact. So.
I'm sorry. So I hope no one's long this. I don't mean to make fun of it, but it's counter trend today. Haitham Yasan, I got a flat bottom. Brother, I don't want to hear about your bottom. Come on now,
man.
Come on now,
man. You gotta get those squats.
You're still
in,
good.
man.
Yeah, I know, right? Do you remember Joseph was all pumped about the AI glute cells? Never forget about that.
The glutes, man.
Good times, homie.
Yeah.
So guys, we're keeping an eye on everything today, tariff related. We got all the TV set up. If anybody's going to be doing any talking, whether Donald Trump, Justin Trudeau, that Shine Bond woman from Mexico, we're going to have it, right? We're going to try to cover. We got Adara at the big desk. She's got all the tools there. So stick with us today on Tariff Tuesday. We're going to have everything covered for you, Joseph.
Hey, good luck there. So yeah, we're holding on to this Nvidia. It held that level 1150 really well, and we're going to slowly start piecing things out here as we climb higher and higher and higher. So let's go Nvidia. We're hoping to hit that 114 target, or that high a day possibly around 114.5. So Stevenson asked me to take a look at SPY from, and I would love to, because there's a lot to talk about. This, especially from a daily perspective and just an option standpoint as well too, all right? So if we have a heightened PCR, we were just going over that, a put to call ratio, so more retail traders are buying puts, that means there's the opposite side of that trade. So what does that mean? That they're synthetically long, right? So if you're on the opposite side of a put, you're selling that put, you are now long. So at what point are we gonna bounce? What is max pain for the overall market here? And as you can see, we are starting to run into some key support levels. Really important. This pivot I would use as one. And then you have a bunch of touches along this consolidation phase as well too. Now, I do believe that there is going to be more potential short-term downside. Can we turn around here? Absolutely. But that may be more lead towards something like a cover rally, okay? So now you have to hedge, you're short the puts, so now you're synthetically long, and now you want to start getting out of those positions and hedging that position. So that's when you can kind of get into that cover rally territory. I'm not saying that's necessarily going to happen right now, but eventually it will. And how strong that cover rally is going to be is really dependent on the sentiment of the market, all right? So again, I do believe that we're going to break through here. There's so many identical setups, like the one in BTC here as well too, guys, to keep in mind that once we breach these key support levels, then we continue to move lower and lower. And that's the case with some of these big cap tech names, like the Qs as well are running into the same territory. So just be wary. And on the Qs, we've actually breached it and moved lower. So again, what we want to do, Gaurav knows exactly what we're looking for. A lot of traders know what those indecision prints. We want to be able to identify that stopping volume. So an isolated volume signature and then an indecision candle print. That's going to indicate like, hey, we're ready to bounce. But as of right now, it's not looking too pretty. There might be more potential downside. 478 is possibly the next target on the market. And that would put us all the way down to about an 11% pullback there. So a correction there around 11%. And we're still hovering around that 7 to 8% correction. So we're not too far from, pullback, we're not too far from correction territory. So we are at about 10% right now, a little bit less than that. So start to look for that bounce. Is it inevitable? Maybe not right this second, but we will get that cover rally going, and then that's when you can kind of get those short-term bounces, and then maybe a possibly continuation in the trend. Now, in my opinion, I don't think that the market's going to see an all-time high for quite some time. We went on a two-year bull run. We are now trading within a range, breaking through the lows of that range. So market, there's a little fear in the market, and we got to keep that in mind. A lot of people talked about the VIX this morning, and we're going to go over that very shortly, but we're going to continue to piece them out here, Sharif, see what you got cooking up over there.
Well, I was talking to Jay Lee in the chat, and he's letting me know that Boyle is up monstrous, but could be pulling back off the highs. Let's look at it. Boyle is a double levered ETF for Nat Gas. Let's flip to the 5. So this is very directional for Boyle. What the hell is Nat Gas up on the day? It was 7% when I looked at it in the morning. It's up 10%. Okay, Nat Gas is moving. All right, so this is BOIL. The ticker 107.19 coming down, Jay, into 106.5, but the 5-minute looks still quite good. You're holding the 10, Jay, for the most part. This is the first red candle on Boyle since 10:45, so almost an hour ago was the last time we printed a red candle that closed that way. Now, I like it at a couple of places. You let me know how you feel, Jay. 104 and change for this area support level. If it gives up the level at the 10 exponential, so this area around 104, maybe front running it a little bit with a couple of shekels. If 104 is nothing, then I'm definitely looking at VWAP at around 103. Now it's showing you its propensity to kind of respect VWAP here. Now it does breach it, and it does actually close below VWAP for a hot second, and then it makes another new high after that. So we'll see exactly what the situation is. It's already $1.20 off the high, Jay. Now I'm probably not inclined to trade Boyle, likely going to be looking at UNG, but it is basically the same chart. Look at this. I mean, UNG, there it is. This is $24. And then you flip to Boyle, looking like the exact same thing. So obviously, we don't really need to execute on the $100 name. Definitely will be looking more for the UNG. So the levels on UNG are going to be around 23 3/4 for that area support. If that area doesn't hold, then it's around 23.5 for the volume weighted average price. And now that I look at it, one of the differences here between Boyle and UNG is that this actually respects VWAP, whereas when you look at Boyle, maybe because it's a double levered ETF, it actually breaches VWAP. So yeah, not much of a difference there. Anyway, it's looking like it's giving up the ghost here at the 10 exponential. I'm going to load this up, see if we can ride some momentum here on something that, clearly is counter trend to these markets in the fact that it's up on the day, when many things are not. So UNG, Boyle, Nat Gas in general, if you have access to the futures, go ahead and trade those. I think it's called Henry something or another Nat Gas. Let's find out. It's called Henry Hub Natural Gas on the NYMEX. Not like that really matters to you, but I just want to let you guys know. CDP. Do you trade futures, brother? Well, I don't trade futures, but I'm always charting futures. So I'm always looking at the NQ March contract or whatever contract we've got in the moment. And the reason I do that is because I want to look at what the overall market's doing, especially if I'm trading the Mag 7. If I take a futures trade, it'll likely be on the Qs or the triple Qs or the SPY. I know those are not technically the futures, they're ETFs of the market, but they definitely shadow the futures, so to speak. So I get in on those when I am looking at trading the overall market in general. I'm keeping an eye on GER, guys, because GER keeps making higher highs and higher lows. So now we put it a new high of the day, 37.50 HOD. It's up 15 3/4. This one is very strong. It hasn't even touched the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 since 10:30. So an hour and 12 minutes of it just, flouting that 10 exponential, making higher highs and higher lows. Great strength on this one, but you're going to have to ante up some money. It's a bit more expensive of a small cap gapper. It's also got a gnarly spread. 20 pennies right now. I've seen it wider, 30, 35. So you're going to have to account for that in your trading methodology and your strategy. So keep that in mind. It's continuing to make new highs, though. All right. So we added into this IVVD because there's a buyer of note here, as you can see, about 42, maybe 4,300 lots from what we can see at $1.20. So he's backstopping the price movement from going down. That doesn't mean it's not going to drop, which is why I still have my $1.14 dip trade still set up there. Now FAZ, sorry, Joseph.
That's all good.
FAZ is coming down. Now it's breaking this level. So I only got one more out on this bad boy, but I'm still interested in getting more in to defend the volume weighted average price. We're still above VWAP. Technically, we're still putting in higher lows and higher highs. So if we dip into this 576 area, I don't mind adding into it. I've got 80 average because I did add over here. I had a 79 average before. We shall see what we get on the day. Mullen guys continuing to hang out, I should say, at that 250. It's not really, breaking below it. But it's not clearing it either. So we've topped out, double top possibly right now at 255. But look, we're not giving back the move. In fact, we're still hanging out near the highs. And we're definitely closing higher than we closed before. Look at that implied balance open, 950, 955. We're closing at 244. We're already above that on a closing basis. So MULN could be something here. Let's find out. We are going to go to Adara at the big desk.
Just be aware here, we just have our last question being asked here for Justin Trudeau. So it will be a question, follow-up, and then he will be no longer on the stage. Just to be aware of the fact that this conference is going to be ending imminently, guys. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. Yeah, so keeping an eye on the same thing. FAZ, still keeping an eye on IVVD, but certainly interested in weaseling in to either GRR, or EU. Let's bring up EU because I haven't said too much about this one. I believe it is on the NQ, yes. So this one did top out at $1.64. It is coming in, though, into price action support at $1.55. So you have a couple of things here. You have $1.55 previous resistance on EU, and then you also have the volume weighted average price, which is also at $1.55. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get in small size over here, and then, I don't think we're allowed to trade this one. Yeah, it's blocked. All right, whatever. Maybe it doesn't do enough volume. Yeah, I'm getting the notification. Gateway rejected, order closed. All right, cool, whatever. We don't have to trade this, not a big deal. So we'll let that one go, and we'll keep an eye on the ones we can trade, which is FAZ and IVVD, Joseph.
Yes, sir. Can you hit it for me?
Which one?
Dollar.
Hey, just like that, eh?
All right, guys, here we go. Yeah, we're cooking up here in NVDA, continuing to climb higher. We broke through that downtrend that I was mentioning. So constructing on those those lower highs, guys. So I always get those two mixed up, don't you? The higher low, lower high.
Sometimes,
sometimes I always get those mixed up. But anyways, here we go. Climbing higher and higher is NVDA. Looking for that 114 break. Are we going to go into that high of the day? Possibly. I think so. So we're going to continue to hold on to this position because it is working out really well. Are we going to call this a double bottom right here? Maybe, maybe not. There is a little bit of a liquidity grab there. And then you hold that 111 base extremely well. Now climbing higher and higher. So there we go. We like this NVIDIA, and it's about time. It's been getting slack. There hasn't been very many positive days in the past couple weeks on this name. So again, one thing you need to note is that the float is significantly higher now, so it moved in the likes of Apple. And for those who are experienced in trading Apple, it takes a lot. You have those multiple fake outs, but it also takes it requires a lot of capital in order to move the underlying asset because the float is so large. And that's how NVDA started to trade since previous split, since that 10-1. So just keep that in mind. It's like, okay, not attempt one, not attempt two, usually doesn't work, but that third attempt is when it goes on. And I was talking about it the previous session, is that, okay, when you have the third retest of a possible breakout, that one has the highest probability of confirming that breakout and then continuing the breakout. So what we'll do is we'll just go over what we did exactly. So entry one, okay, so we failed to break this previous high on entry one. It pulls back. We couldn't break it again. But then on that third test, all right, so 1, 2, and then 3 right here on that third test, when that volume picks up on the lower time frames, is when that breakout is confirmed, and that's when you want to participate. So if you want to get extremely detailed about this trade, yes, I'm in here with the stop of 115, but you also need to be adding into the position right here, especially with that break in the volume there as well too, guys. So keep that in mind. That's what we're cooking up here in some NVDA. 3 tries. The third one is the charm. So yeah, we'll hold up onto that. But I want to talk about the VIX as well too, because Brankos and I were talking about it over on last Friday for an Obi's party there, which was a good time. We're gonna send it to Adair in 1 second here. Actually send it to Adair now, please, and thank you.
Just wanted to let you guys know, Trudeau has left the stage. His conference is over. There's no other conferences today during the day that we have scheduled, but Donald Trump is set to announce the tariffs officially. That'll be after the close, 9 p.m. Eastern. So Trudeau tariff announcement is done. Back to you.
Yeah, all right. So thanks for that, Adair. SMCI, according to Shreve, is ripping. Let's pull that up here. Oh, wow. Just moving against the whole market here, my guy. So really good look there. Pre-market, we were selling, then we traded above the volume-weighted average price and essentially haven't looked back yet. I'm not going to chase it all the way up here, Sharif, but that's a nice flat top break around that 37.50 level and then continuing to climb higher. So if you're an SMCI, congratulations to you. It's one of the stronger names on the session. But again, this is a tough look here from a daily perspective on SMCI. But now I want to talk about the VIX, the volatility or the fear index, all right? I think this is really important to gauge, even for equity traders, common stock traders. We need to keep an eye out on the fear index. And now we're running into some previous levels. We haven't seen this since December of last year. Really important. And are we going to break through some of these key support levels? I was telling Brankos, I'm like, hey, I think there's an opportunity to sell some calls at 30 in the VIX. He's like, no, Joe, listen, you got to buy these calls because we're elevated and we're going into a potential downtrend in the broader market. I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're right, Brankos. We got to start buying calls or selling puts against this underlying asset. And I think that's the game plan here. Don't try to suggest that the volatility is going to start to tighten and dwindle. I think that we're going to continue to the top side. I think volatility is going to continue to pick up, especially with these tariffs, and we still don't know the full implications, how it's going to hinder earnings. So that's my thesis. We're going to stay bullish on the VIX, Sharif.
Yes, sir. Well said, Joseph. I got to agree with that bias entirely. All right, here's the deal. We're involved in IVVD. I got the print that I wanted, that 114, and I mentioned exactly why I wanted that 114. I told you that this bad boy, I perceived it to be respecting price action, support, and resistance. So that 114 was an obvious area top in the same way that that 108 area was an obvious area top. So I had that resting order at the $1.14, low, and behold, it did come down and trigger me. I've already wet the beak there into the high teens, but we're still showing weakness, okay? So we haven't cleared this by any means. Now, I've tried to give this a little bit of room, having gotten in at 114. I'm trying to give it a bit of space in case we get an algo spike down that bamboozles me and, pushes me out. So we're involved in it right now. I've taken a few beak wetters to the high side. This is not the big position or anything, but a little bit bigger than what I typically take. So hopefully we'll have some more outs if this one does move up to the high side. I see you, Bovin, baby. He's talking about POLA. It just broke above that volume weighted average price, which is what I had said to him. Like, this is light on volume, POLA, and it's below VWAP. That's all changed though, Bovin. But here's the deal. My man, see that big spike up there that we got at 445? That takes us all the way up to about 348, 347. How much volume did we do there? About 400,000 shares. Not that much. It's going to have to get above this area above, and you know how my rules are. I won't trade it if it's below the pre-market high, and this is exactly below the pre-market high. So here's what I'll do. I'll throw an alert about 20 pennies or so south of that high. Sorry, I forgot. I didn't put in the ticker there for you, POLA. So you guys can follow along. Yeah, so I'll wait for that pre-market high to either trigger. Otherwise, I just won't trade it. I've been bamboozled by these bad boys before where, they get close to that pre-market high only to kind of just be kept down. So great call out, Bovin, but I'm going to keep my eye on that one for the break of the pre-market high. MLGO. We were trading this one and we got stopped out. It's back in business, baby. So tested that break-even point of the day at around 385, 384, and right back above the volume-weighted average price and taking out local highs here into 405. But we did this song and dance before. We broke VWAP, reclaimed it, got up to 410, only to make newer lows. So I'm going to need to see more. So if that means waiting and getting a worse price, so be it. But I'm going to need to see something above that 412, 413. Show me that you're going to hold the area. Show me that you're going to take up the sellers who are selling up a storm up here. So MLGO, certainly in focus. Not going to take that one off. Mullen is breaking out, Neil. Something's going on here with MULN. What a move up here. I mean, it took out that 250, and here I am not doing anything about it. Great look. 270 now on MULN. 32% here on the name. I got no idea why this is running, by the way. Let's find out if there's a news headline on it. Show yourself news headline.
Oh, you're so.
Allow me a moment here. Old man hands can't hang.
Apple's breaking. I mean, Google's breaking out here as well.
I like
my
that.
guy. Yeah.
I like
Google's
that. You want to cover it?
Yeah. Let's go here, guys. While you figure out what you got going on there on MULN. So Google's already broken out. So we kind of passed the breakout area, but nice flat top break here, Sharif, on Google. 168.32 was that resistance zone. We punched through that. We have that steady volume here, which is extremely important for breakouts, and that's what we got. We're going to go over QBTS because multiple people in the chat asked us about this, but Google is breaking out. But then I see Neil talk about Apple, and it's close to the same case here, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
We have the inability to break through that resistance zone, and I was watching some stuff on Apple, and actually the reason why it may be holding up significantly better than some of these other big tech names is that with the iPhone and these tariffs looming, I guess they're implemented now, there's loopholes that the iPhone can get around, so that's why it's had the ability to maintain somewhat strength compared to the other big names.
Makes sense, dude. And we've seen Timmy C in Trump 1.0. He was able to weasel some exemptions from tariffs.
There you go.
And we saw Timmy C meet with the orange one a couple of days ago or whatever, a week ago or whatever it was. And, who knows? Maybe they strike some sort of deal. I don't think Donald Trump wants to hurt his own companies. I don't think so. Not with the Chinese making a move. He definitely doesn't want that. So we'll see whether some exemptions come in for some of these names like Nvidia, some Apple, some other names that would be exposed more egregiously to these tariffs and some others. I'm thinking auto industry as well. We're going to have to see whether they get any reprieve or not, or whether he's able to kind of help a little bit because their cost base is going to be a little bit higher, especially if they have to get things from other areas and change supply sources and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff for the car industry, that is, comes from Southern Ontario. We have an entire industry in Southern Ontario here. All they do is support like the Rust Belt manufacturing for cars. And so, if that changes, we'll have to see how they're able to handle that. So time will tell. We'll keep an eye out on that. IVVD Ram just took out a beak wetter there at $1.18. So this one does hold for the moment. Looking for that next one at 119. Let's throw out some more. We'll layer some orders here in case we get, an algo spike up or something like that. Let's see if we can extract some profitability on this one. What else we got going on up in this? You know what? Just keeping my eye on these small cap gappers. Man, Gurr keeps going. We were talking about this one at 37. Now we're going to talk about it as a 38.58 high a day. Is up 18.6%, well off the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute. Very good strength right now on GRRR. I don't know how I feel about that, though. Let's just keep an eye out about that. Shout out to Vecna, $2 super chat. QBTS, dang it. She didn't say dang it, or they didn't say dang it, but I'm going to use that one. Let's have a look at the quantum names today. I know Neil's fam is involved in this one. It's a good look. What's going on?
We're squeezing here
on goggles?
in NVDA.
Cover it, baby.
Yeah,
Cover
NVDA.
it.
We'll go over QBTS right here. But we're just climbing higher and higher, guys. We're catching this whole trend right now as we break through that high a day, continuing to climb. What do we got to hit there? Hit it twice for me, Sharif.
Oh. 1, 2.
Bang, let's go. Yeah, good look there on NVDA. Still climbing higher. I think that we can squeeze somewhat here and get a nice recovery. It's not going to be 10% or anything along those lines, but it will be slightly positive on the day.
Sounds good. Let's cover QBTS for Vecna. Yes, here it is, Ram. 518 high a day right now. Great look, great recovery off that 410 low. We went green once we took out that 490 area. That was the break-even point. That was a closing print from yesterday. We're still below yesterday's high. So there's going to be upward pressure on the move up, but we've cleared 5. We've cleared the yesterday high. So these are good technical areas to clear on QBTS. How high we go, your guess is as good as mine. I don't even know why these quantum names are running up. Let's see if there's a headline of import on these names? No, not really. There was a headline yesterday on software names, broader software sector trading lower mid overall market uncertainty. Nothing today on QBTS. Anyway, let me have a look at QUBT, see if there's anything specific to that name. Not seeing anything on that except a whole bunch of people complaining and suing. Rigetti, I don't see anything on that, but I do believe Adair's got some for us at the big desk.
So, Sharif, we actually did have a bit of a headline. It came here around, I guess, the start of the midday, and it's actually around when we had this push to the downside, which is why I didn't say anything at the time. I was unsure if it would be reacting. But basically, this is circulated on social media. It's just an article from some website called the Global Times, where a scientist apparently said that quantum computing could cut AI training time from weeks to mere hours. So apparently AI training time could be cut considerably with the use of quantum computing. Again, this is basically a headline that was being circulated on X. That was the extent of this story. It came out here around 11, I think around this 11:15 candle. We pushed lower, but clearly bouncing here. RGTI also reports earnings this week, and it's SMR earnings day one, guys. Back to you.
It's not bad. Yeah, guys, GUR keeps going. I was just talking to Neil about GRRR. The daily's a fantastic look. Thank you for pointing that out, Neil. I didn't even have eyes on the daily. Thank you, Adair, for that as well. Appreciate you keeping us apprised of what's moving. But this is the daily chart on GRRR. This is a fantastic looking name, man. And this is still technically a south of one. Well, not technically. It is south of $1 billion market cap, 717 million market cap. But it's a fantastic looking daily chart. Obviously, when you zoom out, it changes a little bit, but when you zoom in, at least for the last, say, year and a half, it's a nice breakout there off that low. Where did we get low there? $2, and we've been kind of making higher highs and higher lows ever since then. Knocking on the door of 40. I'm talking about GRRR. Up over 20% today, Joseph Wilson.
Yeah, good look there, Sharif. I know you were talking about QBTS as well, too, not too long ago. I just want to touch on some things about it as well. So, guys, you can see that when this sector, the quantum space, was really in play. So we had a couple months of really good in-play stock, and then we gapped down. You find out that these companies aren't making actually any money yet, and then now the sentiment has changed. But what usually happens once is going to happen again. I don't know about the history repeats itself, but again, we can classify it as that. And are these names going to be back in play? I think so. Is it going to be anytime soon? That's the hard part to predict, right? So we don't know that. But again, when you go on runs like these, now we're just chilling in this phase here, not doing too much, trading eastward, some liquidity grabs to the top side, some liquidity grabs to the downside. Possibly that we come and play with these names it might happen in the future. We just got to wait, be extremely patient. The chances of the market waiting you out are extremely high. So things don't happen necessarily when you think they're going to. So that's why you have to be really patient. I do believe that this space is going to be in play again eventually, but we just have to sit and be patient and wait for that opportunity to arise. All right, guys. So just keep that in mind. We are down. So with the likes of RGTI as well too, that was also in play. But you can see the similarities within the price action from a daily standpoint in this space, and eventually it's going to pick up that steam. I wasn't going to grab any Rigetti in here because once we had the inability to punch through this high or even relatively test it or close this gap, I'm like, okay, yeah, we got to get out of here. So the next target in Rigetti is probably going to be that $6. And if they decide that they want to go a little, if the market decides that it wants to go lower, and it will put you in more max pain. So just keep that in mind. I do think that this space is going to come alive again. It's just not right now. But let's see what Adair is up to. Then we got Neil with his lesson.
Bang.
Just look at the S&P 500. Apparently, it's actually the birthday of this index. So this year today is actually when it was created, or not this year. This would be back in 1957. We had the creation of the S&P 500 index. So happy birthday, S&P. Not a super celebratory day, though, because we're down about 1.3% for the index. NASDAQ here down about 0.18. So NASDAQ recovering nicer than the SPY. That also was down less to begin with. Biggest catalyst today, Tariff Tuesday. So Trudeau of Canada actually responded here. These tariffs are kind of confusing, so I'm going to break them down for you. Basically, they're going to be imposing tariffs worth $30 billion here, Canadian. That will happen immediately. There'll be 25% tariffs. Then there's going to be another 25% tariffs for roughly 125 billion Canadian. That'll be imposed in 21 days' time. So they increase exponentially in terms of their scope in 21 days. That's a tariff breakdown here. Let's take a look at some names moving. RGTI, these quantum names, as I mentioned earlier, there was actually a bit of a story on this one. There is an article circulating on social media suggesting that if they're actually these end up being helpful. Quantum computing could really speed up AI training time. So AI training time could potentially down the line be sped up by quantum computing. That was the story. TSLA going to be one of the many stocks on watch here. Tesla initially, I guess, selling off here, trying to bounce a little bit here, but basically 49% decline here for their made in China EV sales for the month of February 2025. And we have more infographics. You can check these out on X at TTV Research. This one here, with all the weakness in the market, here are the 10 worst NASDAQ names. It's worth noting Nvidia was number 11. So Nvidia extremely weak on the year, but Strategy, initially one of the leaders this year, down number 10th worst performer in the index. Broadcom, Marvell, PayPal, Cadence, AMD, a lot of actually semiconductor names on this list. Tesla, also third worst performer in the NASDAQ. This was as of the close on February 28th, 2025. And the other graphic you can check out from us on X at TTV Research, best performers in the NASDAQ, Starbucks here, actually winning. So lots of caffeine for them in that index. Amgen, Intel, actually the 9th best NASDAQ name. So there's some pretty surprising names on here. You can check them all out on X at TTV Research. Back to Neil with his lesson of the day. Take it away, Neil.
You do your thing, Intel. It ain't the strongest today, that's for sure. Let's be real about that. No, but the lesson of the day is going to be about, I guess, playing the range or respecting the range, and sometimes you just got to be able to let it go. Like the rubber band, when they let it go, you want to stay out of the way. You see David versus Goliath in the old slingshot. And on days like today, I feel like if you're looking short, where there were a lot of great shorting opportunities out there, it was simple. Like once the key level went, or if it didn't go, it's a flush zone today. And if it did go, get the you-know-what out of Dodge. So this, I mean, Tesla would be an example kind of in either direction. Intel's a really good example off the open where you've had a level of resistance, it can't break it, it's an absolute flush zone. Boeing is another example of that. If we're going to talk about the easy ones, where if you're looking short, it's a similar setup to Intel, like it just doesn't want to break, flush zone, get out of Dodge. But the lesson of the day is about learning and getting better. Now, SMCI, I got away from it eventually, but there's another way I could have looked at this, and this is going to be obvious. Like if you look at where the afternoon short was, which when you trade a stock, you will anchor yourself to levels that you traded. So yesterday had success shorting the 38 level, late to the move there. Well, we were shorting pretty much every pop, but 38 was the afternoon trade that we got into almost right away for you guys, and then we're adding to it on the way down. So I anchored myself to that level and was like, I'll short when it's weak underneath it and get away when it continues to trend up. So I did. The good part was that I got away from the short eventually, but realistically, this was a stock that had and went back to green, which on a day like today, when it's panic in the blood in the water, maybe you want to get away from it when it goes green. And had I been doing that instead of shorting the higher level that I was anchored to because it worked great yesterday, then we might have been looking longs off EWAP. But that's something that you just got to be able to work to and respect. It's all about sort of respecting key price levels, respecting trend. So I might have had the right idea to get away from the stock, but I don't think I had the right starting point. And those key prices, they're really the more important part of it. Are you even trading it at the right level? And be honest about that, not just the level that worked before. And then the other thing that you got to consider here sometimes is you can want something to happen, and I'm going to come back to SMR. It could just be a nothing burger too, because I am still waiting for SMR to break it out above the key level today. You know, like I was never thinking short in SMR. There's your resistance on earnings. It kind of flushed this 16 quarter zone and then held the low. Well, it immediately bounced to get right above the lows, but no breakout of the top. And the good news is you're not forced to trade. You know, I didn't have to short SMCI today. I don't have to go long SMR. It's up 4%. That's not bad into a weak market. But the key price level hasn't broken for a squeeze. SMCI did that same thing. I want SMR to do it, but it doesn't mean I'm going to chase the move. And that's sort of the idea. You can't be forcing the action. If it's inside the range, you don't have to trade it. If it's inside the range and it's working for you, then you should try to hold it for the shorts in Intel, which I don't even think I held long enough. Should have held it even another couple of percentage points to the downside. But then remember, if it's breaking out the range, sometimes you don't have to take the short off this level like I did, because it's breaking out the prior day close. And sometimes you just got to be able to go into the other direction. So on a day where everyone's panicking or there's blood in the water, there's that whole red to green story when everyone's like, oh my goodness, the market's down 1%, this stock's down 5% pre-market, that stock's down 7% pre-market. When something goes green, you can get a big time squeeze. And a lot of times initiating short position, even if you have a good level, might not be the way to go. So I learned that on SMCI, and it turned me red on it because the first short was actually good. But I didn't have to be in that trade inside of the range. I could have been only shorting underneath 36 or doing nothing till it broke out the top. Sometimes it's just about sitting on the sidelines, and if a stock was really good to you yesterday, doesn't mean you have to just go ahead and try the same thing that worked for you the day before. But an explosive move up here in several names, the Nasdaq's still down 1%. But look at the names that went green, look at the names that are breaking out tops, and that's, I think, where you want that little squeeze play. Don't try to fight them. There's plenty of weakness in a market like today. Be picky with your shorts. There's your lesson of the day, everybody. As usual, good luck. Kind of curious to see what you guys have to say about the Playmaker poll today. Because I feel it could really go either way.
Wait. Still on you there.
I don't know, bro. Thank you very much, Neil. Informative, eloquent, and just all around awesome as always. Neil Roberts every day around that lunch hour, baby. He's dropping those lessons of the day. All right, new position here, Joseph. Weaseled into Mullen, looking for price action support here. Now, it did make a new high of the day, so now I have to be concerned. 284 HOD. I continued to wait for this level to come in. This is the breakout level, 255. So what do we got on here for MULN? So we're going to put the stop just a skosh below that 2.5. So let's go and throw that out right now. We're going to go like this over here, and then for that amount of shares. So we'll see if we can extract some profits here on Mullen. Going to give it, I don't want to say too much room, but we're going to give it a little bit of room here in case it wants to wick down below that $0.50 and then get quickly bought up. So keeping my eye here on MULN. I also did add into IVVD, but this one is going to be really tight in terms of room. So I'm giving this one to right below that $1.09. It's going to have to hold this level and see what we get there. FAZ, this trade might be coming to an end if it does break below that 70 penny area. I still didn't get my DCA at 74s, but we are putting in a whole bunch of lower highs right now. But this is an area where we have found support before. This area over here, right around 1030, we did bounce off. So let's see exactly what we get here. It's been a tough day for these small cap gappers because they're not really getting any explosive moves to the high side, but we're going to try our hand at it, see if we can extract some profits, Joseph. So in 3 trades right now, Mullen, IVVD, and FAZ.
Hey, yeah, my guy Gaurav in the chat was talking about some Microsoft there. So we know that this stock hasn't been trading well for the better part of a year now, so a little over a year. We did construct the all-time high around 468, but then we just went back into this consolidation phase. One thing that he wants to note is like, hey, check out this print down here. And yeah, I agree with you, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for. Gaurav, I want to see a little bit more of an indecision, more decisiveness from a hammer candle standpoint, and then you want to see that volume as well too. But valid point, because we are running, look at the support level here, so keep that in mind. And you can see, and I pointed it out earlier, that a lot of the Mag 7 and the overall market is hovering around those support levels. So we need to keep that in mind. How much more potential downside is there? I do believe that this stock is going to recover, and you can start to get these names at a discount. But as of right now, not looking too pretty, okay? So just keep that in mind. But I like what you're looking at there. Someone asked us to cover SPY for us. We went over this earlier, but we'll go over it again real quick. So, excuse me. You can see that this 5-minute opening drive, so the 5-minute orb traders, to the downside worked out really well. So you're breaking through some bases here and then continuing to the sell side. If you were to play the 5-minute orb here, you would really want to pay attention to the tape to see if that continuation of above the ask transactions are being continued, all right? So sorry, continuation of the whatever it may be. But you want to see them continuing to follow through. And that wouldn't be the case if you're paying attention to the SPY. And then as you break through this key level, you're going to see the bid really start to pick up. And then that's that's when you're going to see the order start smashing above and at the bid, or below and at the bid, okay? So keep that in mind. Really weak stuff here. I think that it's going to take some momentum and a lot of volume in order for us to hold above the volume weighted average price. But one thing that we can note from a positive standpoint is that we put in a potential double bottom, all right? So we have those two touches, multiple touches here, putting in that W-shaped pattern, and then now trading higher. So if we can hold this previous resistance zone as a support level, then we can hold above the volume weighted average price. But we're going to want to see that volume really start to step in here and pick up so we can sustain this, all right, guys? So just keep that in mind. Someone in the chat asked us to go through SPY levels, and that's just my TA on SPY. But one thing that I do like here from a daily standpoint as well too, guys, is this potential Tesla bounce. It's a matter of time. Like this thing, I'm not gonna say it doesn't have to, Sharif, but at some point it's going to, you know what I mean? Because it has that cult-like type price action. People really get involved with this. Elon says the right thing, even though he's probably been saying too much lately. If he says the right thing or the right tweet comes out, this can send this name absolutely parabolic once again, or start to recover the majority of these losses that it occurred, all right? So just keep that in mind, guys. A nice indecision print at the lows here as we broke through key support systems. So yeah, let's wait for that. We can also take a look at some of the RSI because I'm sure that it's relatively weak. So oversold standpoint and et cetera. So just keep those in mind. Guys, the poll is up, short or long. Let's see what everybody's thinking here. I'm going to vote long on the Playmaker. Hopefully that one comes to fruition. We hit the short yesterday.
I hit it short right now, too.
You hit it short, but we hit the short at a 2-to-1. So we've only gone to the short side twice, and we're shooting a 50% of that 2-to-1 ratio. So that's a really good look there on that one. Someone says XLF is flying, and I want to take a look at this one. What?
Really? Oh, for real?
No. Ooh, flying to the downside? Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
That's a plummet. That's a plummet, if anything, but it is starting to pick up a little steam, guys, in all reality. But a nice look here. Wow, that's beautiful. So if you want to talk about trading 5-minute opening range breaks, this is what you want to see. There is no wick on this 5-minute print, and that's exactly what you want to see. This can indicate that this is the most bearish possible candle print that you can get when there is no buying pressure or there is no resistance whatsoever to the downside in this underlying name. So really good look there on XLF, and we're going to continue to hold on to this NVDA. Maybe we tap into north of 115. I might add to the position here, Sri.
All right, man. All right. What is the situation? Got stopped at a Mullen. So Mullen came back into price action support. It didn't hold. So I'm out. Simple as that. It's also below the volume weighted average price. We'll see what the situation is here. Now, my position over here is a little concerning. I'm talking about IVVD. This is starting to look like a flat bottom break. Okay? We're at a price action support level, this $110, where we kind of held on. We consolidated here for a bit, but I'm not seeing anything that's keeping me optimistic that we move up into that $114. This really does look like stair step down, another stair step down, and then the one we're currently in right here. Yes, another stair step down. So well off the highs of a $127. Now we're at a $111, and you're not seeing anything to the bid side. There you go. You got a breach there, a quick breach into that $110. This looks like it's going to flat bottom break. I have my stop below 108 into 107s, but that was, to account for any algo spikes moving down before it moved along its merry way. But I'm starting to kind of question that whole theory here with IVVD. It does look like it's going to give up the ghost. Sadly, we tried this one. It's below VWAP right now. I punched in 112. That's exactly VWAP, but it's losing the bid. So if it drops anymore, that's going to be the end of the trade for IVVD. It's up 16%. We had a couple of good extractions on it initially off that $114, but that was really as good as it was going to get. Unless it moves up right now, I really do not have a whole lot of faith in this one. FAZ below VWAP right now, all right? So the volume weighted average price on FAZ, 575. The only reason I'm still involved in this trade is this price action support here. I've already placed my stop below that area. It hasn't triggered, so we're going to give this one another opportunity to find its way back up to the upside. Otherwise, 2 more pennies, we get stopped out on FAZ. Now I'm keeping my eye on GRRR. So this is the first time it's touched the 10 exponential on the 5 since basically clearing that level at 1030. We talked about that. Currently $39.62 high a day, $38 is the 10 exponential moving average. We have a 3 red candle set up right now on the 5-minute chart. It's holding 38. It's held 38 for a couple of candles right now. Let's see if this one can catch a bid. It's the best looking name in small cap gapper world, if you really want to call this a small cap gapper, because it's a $700 million market share. So we did get stopped out of IVVD there as it dropped below that area. So we give up some on this one. And I had a much larger position that I typically take with this one because it's a dollar name. And I said to myself, look, you're so close to that area where you would stop out. Might as well punch in heavy here, because if you get stopped out, you're not going to lose much. And we ended up giving about 4 pennies on that one. So negative on the day right now on IVVD as we give back some on that bad boy. I'm also keeping an eye on Mullen. That broke everything right now. It broke VWAP. It broke the 10 exponential. It's below price action support on MULN. It's really given up the ghost right now after popping up into that 284. I thought we were going to test 3, and then all the way back down we go on.
My guy.
What's
you know
up?
what time it is?
Oh,
it's build
playmaker.
Time. Is it? No, it's no, it's build time. No, it's not.
Yeah,
1 o'clock.
sorry, I'm not plugged in.
1 o'clock
Just interrupt me next time.
For sure. I'll let you finish your sentence. We'll get right into it. Foremost, unlocking the nuclear renaissance with Foremost Clean Energy, leveraging one of the biggest mega trends on the planet, nuclear energy. I was looking into some actually the other day. Partnering with Denison Mines and properties strategically located in the Athabasca Basin, known as the Saudi Arabia of uranium. The undervalued company is poised to capitalize on the exploding nuclear market and offers unparalleled growth potential. Love that. The future is nuclear. Foremost is your entry on the NASDAQ under FMST and on the CST as FAT, or go to foremostcleanenergy.com for details. You can scan that QR code or even click the link in the description there, guys, so you can see it, FMST. That's something that I was actually looking up into the other day because I told you guys about my previous plays that literally had next to no due diligence. My long-term marijuana play and then my vaccine play. Is this nuclear somewhat along that? It's an emerging market. We're going to look at it just like that, guys. Let's see what Adair's up to.
Keep an eye on any auto names. I have Tesla up here, but of course the big 3 like GM, Stellantis, Ford would also be on watch here. I'm seeing some news coming through. Apparently an automaker group, unsure as to the name, but I'll let you know when I have more details. An unnamed automaker group has warned Donald Trump that these tariffs in Mexico and Canada will increase the price of some vehicle models by as much as 25%. So on watch here, vehicle model price is likely to increase according to an automaker group. This is according to the statement they made themselves, so not a report. They've made a statement warning Trump about vehicle price increases as a result of tariffs. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you for that one there, Dara. Yeah, so I was just referring to the energy play, potentially the nuclear energy to be exact. So literally I just typed in who typed into to Google and it's like, who are the top performing marijuana companies back in 2016, 17, whatever it may be. And then the same thing, who was going to lead the vaccine race? And I'm going to do the exact same from a nuclear standpoint and just get my hands a little bit wet. I'm not overly liquid in the long term, but we'll see what we can do there, Sharif. But here we go. I want to go over some of the top performing sectors. And as of right now, we don't have anything that is necessarily green. Now, let me refresh to just make sure that I am not going to eat my words. So yeah, guys, healthcare in first place, and it's down 0.5%. Consumer staples, all right, with the likes of Walmart, etc., down about 0.6 there, and then the tech sector down about 0.6% as well too. So that's the win play show there, guys. And then consumer discretionary down 2%, 1.9 to be exact. The industrial sitting in second last, down 2%. And then the financial sector getting walloped here, Sharif, down 3.26%. But here we go on Nvidia. I don't have very many outs at 115.50. I'm going to hop out of this trade, bang, and then that's it. That's our final out on Nvidia. So this is the face slapper that we got going on here with this one. We caught this whole trend here all the way down from 111.99 was our average, all the way up to 115, almost 116. So almost a $4 club there on that one in Nvidia, Sharif.
That's a monster, bro.
Yeah,
that's a monster. We're dropping the cash. We're going to spin the money for that. Katina Man is going to yell, money, 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 money. There you go, Joe. That's a great trade there,
Appreciate
brother.
that,
Killer trade on a name that was very much negative. So way to put that Way to put the shares up there on something that was bleeding to the downside. Guess what, Joseph? Now it's up 1.5%.
Dang.
So Nvidia recovering bigly there. We'll keep an eye out on that one. It's really the Google story, though, guys. Google up 2.33%. And Joseph and I were talking about goggles before we got onto the show today, and we're like, what is this hot garbage, right? I mean, it was like 10% off the high? What was that off the high?
Google?
Yeah, let's
Closer
look
to
at that.
20%. My God.
20%
Yeah.
off the high. My goodness. Yeah, 20 and a third.
Yeah.
So good day for goggles today as it comes in to that price action support. Now, this area where Google is bouncing off was actually price action resistance, and then we tested it as support once we cleared it. This is the daily chart on Google. Look at all these 168, 170 rejections that we had essentially from August of last year all the way up to this area over here. I want to say, late October 29th, give or take. That's a fantastic look there for anybody who was picking up Google off this level. This is an entry level on Google on the daily. And then once we clear it, back, I want to say again, the 29th, 30th, we get all the way up to 182, come back in, and we test that same level only to find the bid there, and then we make all-time highs. The bleeding came in fast and furious on Google. It's been really ugly on the daily. Probably one of the worst performing names with Tesla and Nvidia in Mag 7 world. I don't know what they're off the top, but Google 20% is not a small amount. But I love how it's holding up off these levels over here, 167.5. It's a level that, we knew about in the summer, we knew about in the fall, and then we knew about again in late fall in, I want to say November 22nd, 25th there when we tested it again. So Google, great look for Google today, up 2.25, 2.33, depending on whether you're looking at Goog or Goog-L. Let's see what else we got going on over here. I'm still looking at GRRR. It came back into that 38. It's kind of at the 10 exponential. It's not making any lower lows. I'm watching this 37.5 because we got a double bottom essentially on the 5-minute here at 37.5. So if it wants to hold up at that area and then maybe make another opportunity to test $40, that would be great. It's just, it's a negative day. I don't even know what the catalyst is on this. Let's find out. Yeah, no catalyst on GRRR from today. Looking from yesterday. Gorilla Technology shares 52-week highs on a $1.8 billion deal. This is from yesterday. So shares of Gorilla Technology Group hit a 52-week high after the company signed a $1.8 billion deal to lead the energy digitalization and infrastructure overhauls in Thailand. The stock jumped 28% to a high of 38.88 early trading. Shares were around 8.84 this time a year ago. Okay, so it's got a headline from yesterday. It looks like it's a continuation play. Not a bad look, 17.75. Let's give this one the try over here. We're going to punch in at 38, and then we're going to give this essentially a little bit below 37.5. So we're going to go like this, and then we'll just give it all the way down there. Where are we long? 97s, okay. Let's see if we can take something off here at 10s, and then we're going to layer into the 20s area as well. Let's see if we can get something on a pop-up here on GRRR. Otherwise, we will get stopped out. Keeping my eye on FAZ as well. This one tried to get back above the volume-weighted average price. I don't have a whole lot of faith in this one. We're long 77s. It's showing me 73s right now with the ask growing big. So some more... So some more stuff coming in there. I know, it's doing more squats. The ask keeps growing there on the right side of the level 2. So keep your eye on that. Fabian, stop whistling at the stock, bro. Shout out to Fabian. You're making me chuckle. All right, guys, we had our beak there for a nice 15-penny winner on GRRR. What's that, Ram? That's an animation. Is it actually? Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was Fabian. I'm like, that's fantastic.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, so that's an animation. Okay. All right, what do you got, Joe?
All right. Man, I'm all out of this Nvidia, and we're still crawling higher. I want to talk about, what I was referring to earlier in the session is just everything from an option standpoint. We're really starting to squeeze now. Hey. So what you got to take into consideration is the opposite side of the trade, right? So we're going to pull up Nvidia from a daily standpoint and a lot of these other big names to see what's going on. So if retail is long some puts, so we're short essentially, right? That means the opposite party is going to be short puts, and they don't necessarily want that, right? They're like, okay, we don't want it to go too much lower because now you're synthetically long. So what you get is you get these nice squeeze type days, which essentially can be classified as cover rallies and also additional hedging too. And I think that's what's going on with NVDA right now. People really starting to cover their puts, so closing those, and then also the institutional traders starting to hedge as well, so they're protecting their downside. So I think that's why we get this squeeze type price action, especially after continuous down days. So just keep that in mind, and I think that's maybe what is going on. Of course, we don't know necessarily, but I think that's around the ranges of what is actually happening in the market today. So yeah, ride the bull. Just continue to ride it. Tesla now breaking through the volume weighted average price. The Qs are absolutely ripping here, Sharif, to the top side. But we got to also take it into perspective that, like, hey, we were down 10% on NVDA yesterday, and we're up about 2%, right? So we're literally a fifth of what we've lost yesterday, and we're like, yeah, we're squeezing, we're all giddy and everything along those lines, but we haven't quite recovered what we lost yesterday. But let's see what Adaira's up to.
Speaking, it's not what I'm up to, it's what the market's up to, right? This nice push to the upside. I'm seeing this comment circulated a lot on social media, so I certainly think it's worth noting as we try to break out day's high on the NASDAQ. Larry Fink of BlackRock here, CEO of BlackRock, said, quote, investors should buy if there's a big dip. So some bullishness being circulated here in the market by Larry Fink. Again, investors should buy if there's a big dip, this comment being made. Though he also said he sees a lot of volatility over the next 6 months. So worth mentioning, I think, because of how much I'm seeing this circulate on social media. Apparently, it should be a buy if there's a big dip for these markets. But I even have more comments coming from Larry Fink. He also says it'll be a rocky year in the market. So some mixed sentiment, but people seem to be reacting to the big dip comment there, guys. Back to you.
And yeah, good luck there, Adaira, and I agree with you, especially with some of these big names. You know, I like to talk about the Mag 7 a lot. If you find them down 15-20%, like Google, Amazon, now Meta, which we haven't even looked at, when you get into those double-digit pullbacks, then we're like, yeah, Sharif and I are like, yeah, that's correction territory. And we're not saying go all in at once, but if you slowly start to DCA and then there's potentially some more downside, then yeah, you want to get involved in these names, especially at discounted prices. Google's trading at like 18 times now, which is absolutely insane. 18 times forward earnings, which is really cheap. Right, so it's like, okay, we don't want to go all in. We don't want to put all our chips in onto one hand. But what we can do is we can just slowly ante in, and then eventually we just DCA into a really well position. And then when the market does decide it wants to rebound, you're positioned extremely, extremely well. But what I was just saying to Sharif on the side is that, okay, I like this bounce. I tried to swing on Amazon, which unfortunately didn't work via shares. But now it's time to let theta and this bounce work for me, and that's what I want to do. Do I want high levels of gamma exposure, especially in volatile markets like this? No. So that's exactly why we go back to the lesson that I was referring to earlier this morning, but just an options trade, not a lesson, an options trade in standpoint. But so if I go to about a month out or so, what I can do is I can start to look to sell some puts at some of these key levels. So I'm going to pull up Amazon for you guys right now. And then we also have the key thing about these bottoming signals, and when you get this waterfall type price action, when everything is just a capitulation, right? So what you want to do is now you can use these bases. So if I'm like, hey, I don't need to have a direct strike price, what I can do is I can sell out the money puts, which allows me to give me some leeway room, which essentially can act as a stop too. So if I'm like, hey, I like the 190s, I can see what they're going to pay me in 30 days out. And that's a nice pretty penny you're going to collect on those 190s, especially because the volatility's picked up. And if we do decide to rebound, you're going to see that volatility start to condense, and that's even more positive for the options trade, Sharif.
Well said, man. Great look there, Joseph. Yeah, I got nothing on right now. I got stopped at a GUR as it broke down below the $0.50 there, so we're out of that one. Looking to see if it wants to find support at 37. That's where the 20 exponential moving average is. It dipped into there. It's at there right now, 37.01s. Let's see if it holds. The answer to that is no. Now 36 low 90s. This one's continuing to go. It's at the 20 exponential as we speak. It's a bit of a wider spread, so you're going to have to account for that if you're going to trade it. But it's off the top right now, 39.62. Yeah, coming down into about the 20 exponential. I'm looking at the side chart, guys. Nothing is to my liking. I kind of knew that was going to be the case today with the Russell down 1.5%. Was way worse though. The Russell was down 2 2/3. Interesting look here. Triple bottom on the Russell at 2050. Did not have eyes on that. Let's look at the RTY. Okay. What's the, okay, so RTY, right? There we go. Russell 2000. Let's go Future. Let's go March contract. Yeah,
I like that one.
Here we go. 5 minutes, baby. Yeah. It's kind of like on the 1 minute right there. If we look at that, that's kind of the triple bottom that I was looking at there on the side chart. 2050, the low of the day, got defended twice. This one didn't actually make it down into 2050. Close though, 2051. So that 50-point level acting as support on the Russell 2000 goes up into 80. So let's keep an eye on these small caps. If they want to catch a bid, now that the Russell's above VWAP and definitely off the lows, fantastic. If not, we'll stay, we'll keep an eye on these.
Oh, no.
The ones that we already got our eye on, but we'll keep an eye as well on the Mag 7. If nothing's trading a small cap gapper world, we'll have to find something. And right now, nothing to my liking. Here's what I'm looking at, guys. That's what I keep looking at the side chart. MLGO, kind of just straddling VWAP there, not doing much. This is grrr, it's bouncing right now off that 37. So we'll want to see if it catches support at the 20 exponential. TVGN is not doing enough volume, so we'll leave that one alone. Mullen kind of topping tailed into 284 and then right back into that consolidation area range. South of the $0.50 we go. It's still up 18%, give or take a couple of percentage points. EU, we can't trade on our system. OPLX, the OLPX, excuse me, doing well.
No idea.
But the volume is really dropping off. But when you look at the volume, compare that to the price action, we're still getting higher highs and higher lows on this bad boy. We're getting higher highs and higher lows on this bad boy with that $1.70 area being the high of the day. So I'm not going to take anything on this, but if this one catches a bid with some volume, we can definitely get behind that. Otherwise, just going to steer clear of that. FAZ broke down below VWAP, so we had to punch out of that. And IVVD gave up that 114 area that we caught the initial bounce off, and now it's below the volume weighted average price, which is at $1.13. So literally each and every single one of these except MLGO and GRRR are not tradable. OLPX, excuse me, is. However, the volume is a little sus on that one. We'll keep an eye on it. But what I see here with GRRR is it is finding a little bit of support at that 37 and by extension that 20 exponential. What I'll wait for though, to make sure that I'm not catching it on the way down is for the first 5 minute candle to make a new high on the closing basis, right? And you haven't gotten that essentially since 12 o'clock. So it's 35 minutes of lower lows and lower highs with neither candle ever closing above its predecessor. You're kind of getting one right now. With the higher low, the low of this candle is around 37 and a fifth, and it looks like it wants to take out 38. So maybe I had the wrong level there trying to get in at 38. Yeah, 38s initially, but really the level does look like it was a 37 retracement into the 20 exponential. Hard to know ahead of time, obviously, so we'll look to react to that. I've got it up on the trading screen here, so if we get that closing print of the 5 minute candle above the predecessor, which the high there, actually the closing there was 37.30. So let's see if we can close above 37.30. I don't mind punching back into GRRR. Let's see if we can test 40, Joseph.
All right. Yeah, guys, let's see what else we got cooking up here. We're all out of this NVDA trade, so we'll continue to just watch and wait for a pullback. I know someone in the chat said they were buying in it, but you don't want to buy all the way up here, right? So you've essentially missed the trade. There's multiple trades within it here, so you can play the break of the volume-weighted average price on the third test, but you can also play the higher day break. But you don't want to be buying all the way up here. Can we climb higher? Absolutely. This name can really start to get the ball rolling, especially when we have a low of around 109 or whatever it may be. But you don't want to be punching in up here, especially because now you have to look at it to a risk to reward standpoint. What are you going to use as a base? 113, right? You don't want to put it mid-range. So if you're punching in at 116 or 115, then you don't want to have like a $2 stop on this name, right? Then you need a $4 move to even hit a 1-to-1. So I think that's really important to note to that trader in the chat who's like, oh, of course it's selling, but you don't want to punch in there. Let's see what Adair is up to.
Keep an eye here on these banks. I know that the XLF was mentioned earlier, financial sector. There's a bit of a move in these. I mean, the whole market bouncing, but we also here just have news that the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, CFPB, has dropped its lawsuit against JP Morgan, JPM, Bank of America, BAC, and Wells Fargo. This lawsuit was brought in early December and had to do with the operation of the Zelle payments network. So Wells Fargo, BAC, and JPM all on watch here as this lawsuit has been dismissed. Guys, back to you.
for that, Adair. So yeah, that's just my take on that one. Yeah, and interesting stuff. But let's take a look at IBIT because a lot of people in the chat are referring to it. Oh, and it looks like it is trading higher and continuing to soar to the top side. So let's see what we got going on from a 5-minute standpoint on IBIT. Okay, so now we're punching through that high a day. Really good look. We have this gap down, so look for potential resistance around this previous post-market base that we have formed here. So 48.77, potentially a next target there. If we punch through that, we're going to want to see that volume and such really start to step in. I want to get back into Nvidia, but I got to wait for a pullback, and you don't want to chase it all the way up here. Tesla is slightly lagging its peers. It's just above the volume-weighted average price, nowhere close to a high a day. 285 is that target. So you're still in it. I know Katina Man's still in it. What are you in it from? $10 winner in Katina Man. So 272. He's in at 262. So a little bit of a face slapper on that one there from him. But one thing that was holding up extremely well, but isn't now, Sharif, is continuing to move lower as the market drags higher, is Apple. We were talking about it. Why is it holding up? But now when the market starts to rally, it's not participating.
Nope.
That's not a good look there, but what's Adair up to?
More news, guys. Sorry for all the interruptions, but Apple on watch right now. AAPL, we have the Financial Times reporting that Apple has actually filed a legal complaint with the British government. It has to do, we've heard a little bit about this, with the British government's attempts to get into their encryption. Basically, Apple is fighting this demand by the British government to have a backdoor in their secure cloud storage systems or encryption services. So Apple now issuing, or I guess entering this legal fight with the British government, guys. AAPL on watch, filing a legal complaint that this order to access through a backdoor can be overturned. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Adara. If we're going to talk about like hedging kind of this overall market, I mentioned this to Sharif, I'll send it to you in a second, is look at gold. Look at this gap up in gold here, guys. So GLD, the Spider Gold Shares ETF right here. So we pull back here, trade into 260. We put in this hammer candle right here, and then a really nice gap up in this name. No continuation just yet. But if the market is fearful, you know they're going to hedge, and they're most likely going to hedge with gold here, Sharif.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's an interesting headline from Apple because we saw them pull out their business there. You basically couldn't leave anything on the cloud in England. They were basically saying, all right, you want us to give you guys a backdoor into cloud storage? We're not offering the service there. When Keir Starmer and Donald Trump met, or whatever his name is, Donald actually talked to him about that. He's like, hey, don't do that with Apple, this, that, and the other. So I was actually surprised that they're actually going to file a lawsuit. I thought they were just going to pull out entirely. But I guess it's too big of a market to kind of just turn your back on right there. So we'll have to see how that all works out. If history's any guide, though, these Mag 7s have very little in terms of success when it comes to suing these European governments. So the courts there tend to side with the European governments there. So we'll have to wait and see how that all works out for Apple. Not really a big thing though. $38. I've been watching this on GRRR for a while, looking for it to hold in and around this level. It's it technically made a new 5-minute candle to make a new high, but I still feel that the downward pressure is a little bit too much on this one. It's got 3 higher lows here. So let's give this one an opportunity. See, it won't even let me in because the spread's so wide. So let's see if we can kind of weasel in a little bit here on this one. I got the ad. Okay, so there we got it. We got it at 82s. Let's hang out near the whole dollar there and let's see if we can extract some profitability. Wide spread though, guys. You're going to have to pack your patience with this one. No question about that. So GRRR, I don't mind DCAing into the $0.50, but it's going to have to continue to put up higher lows. So the middle candle there, the one that I'm looking at where I got stopped out on this bad boy, the low there is 36.69. Then the next candle after that, 37.22. Then the next candle after that, 37.58. So there we go. We got the fill to the high side there. Let's see if we can extract some more profits. I'm going to wait at a little bit of a loftier area here on GRRR. Let's go ahead and wait at the $0.25, see if we can get anything in and around there. Yeah, that's the only one that I really like at the moment, guys. I saw Mullen try to spike back up. Where is the Mullen? There it is. I saw it try to spike back up into that 255 area. If there's anything positive to be said about Mullen, despite the fact that this one weaseled up all the way into 285, then dropped as aggressively as it came up into 235, if there's anything positive to say, it's got higher lows. So if you look at the area troughs, each one a little bit higher than its predecessor there. So we'll see if this one can catch a bid. There's not much, sadly, in small cap gapper world. I'm still keeping an eye on FAZ. This one did lose. The volume weighted average price is trying to work its way above it right now at that $0.75. I'm not going to be quick to jump into this one until it shows me a decided trend change. And we're not seeing that decided trend change right now on FAZ. Keeping an eye also on IVVD. This bad boy, where is that? Yeah, this bad boy is still well below VWAP. VWAP now at $1.12, so it's going to have to work its way well above there. And personally, I probably wouldn't take it until it clears that $1.14 because that was initial resistance. So we'll keep tabs on that. I've got my scanner as well, guys. Keeping my eye on the scanner up on the top screen for anything new that's coming in. Really, there is nothing to my liking at the moment. And I'm looking at the biggest percentage winners. They're either all giving everything back or they're below VWAP or they've got no volume. Adira does have more news for us, though, with Donald Trump, I guess. I don't know.
Here is a Truth Social post from Donald Trump. This just came out about 5 minutes ago, circulating on social media now. Please explain to Governor Trudeau of Canada that when he puts on a retaliatory tariff on the U.S., our reciprocal tariff will immediately increase by a like amount. So Donald Trump coming out here with reciprocal tariff news. And again, it's worth noting, he said immediately increase. So it was unclear if he's planning on right away having this reciprocal tariff. Not a ton of clarity here, but worth noting, Donald Trump has responded to comments from Trudeau, which ended, I think, about an hour ago now, saying that there will be reciprocal tariffs if they get a retaliatory tariff from Canada, which they are. Back to you.
Oh, boy. Oh, I was worried about this.
Governor Trudeau.
I was worried about that. Yeah, that's the last thing I was looking at. That I'm looking at the reciprocal on the reciprocal.
Yeah,
Joseph.
but then it's just I don't know. It's a pissing contest at the end of the day, man.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I can take it for. I'm not gonna take it necessarily at face value. You can't just tear up You can't just be like tariff. Yeah.
Have you met this guy, man?
Yeah, I've met him.
I've never met him, but we know about him. Get it, Donald. You're dancing all over our country right now, man.
Yeah, he's dancing all over everybody right now.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's not a good
all
look.
right. Well, we're gonna have to deal with that. We this is a reality now.
It is.
This is a reality now. So now, look, let's call a spade, bro. More than 30% of our trade is with the U.S. Yep. Mexico, more than 40% of their trade is with the U.S. Theirs is not like ours.
No.
Okay, it's not equal here. So we go on with these tariffs, Joseph. I think it's a for sure recession in Canada. We're
already along those lines.
We're
anyways.
close.
Yeah, we're very
We
close.
grew like 1% in change, but technically we haven't actually, dropped down in that negative territory where we're getting quarter over quarter negative growth.
Well, that's what we need.
Like,
we need back-to-back quarters of negative growth in order to be classified as
the technical definition.
Yeah,
the point is, though, I think we rely way more on them to buy our products than they ever rely on us.
Absolutely.
So
well, they're also 10 times larger than we are, right? So
exactly.
Right? So we're definitely more dependent on the states than they are on us.
Yep.
Is it going to be pretty? Absolutely not. Again,
Tough.
You can't just be. I just think it gets to the point where you're not going to be slapping tariffs on everything and everybody. You got to come to the table and start negotiating to ease things because you know it's going to slow growth in the states as well too, right? If you're tariffing everything, it's going to slow growth up here as well. So you got to take that into consideration. He doesn't want the economy to completely slow down like it previously did during COVID, but he still wants it to stay relative growth.
I agree, man. I agree. Let's see what people are talking about in the chat. Eddie, show some Canadian pride. Come on. It's not about that, man. I mean, having Canadian pride is not going to remove these tariffs. It's not going to change the eventuality of what will happen financially and economically. We can all be very proud of our country, but we also have to be very cognizant and real with ourselves about the the reality of the situation. So I don't think that we necessarily have no pride. But what's going on, Katina, man?
Our market is above the 200 period.
Our market. our market, the Katina Man makes a point, the TSX he's talking about, I'm assuming, is above the 200 moving average, whereas the States isn't. I mean, that's a great point to have. I just don't know if the American economy suffers nearly as much as the Canadian if we go on in this way. We'll have to wait and see. Everything's going to, we don't have to wait long.
No,
these things will happen in the next month or two or three. So
and we've been weaker as well too, right? For the past couple of years, our economy has been significantly weaker than the States. We haven't been growing at a rate that they have been.
Oh, that's been free. Since COVID.
Exactly, right? Yep. For a long period of time.
Right.
So we will feel the effects drastically more than what the States will right off the bat.
Well said, man. I mean, it's a tough look, and I wish it didn't have to come to this, but we're here. So let's get real, and we're gonna have to deal with it. Sharat. Good morning, afternoon, boss man. I know you spoke about it earlier, but I have a $560 sitting around and wondering if QBTS is a good buy. So we're never going to give you financial advice, right? But we can look at something for you and tell you if it's looking good in our perspective or not. So let's have a look at the daily. Obviously, we know that, QBTS and these other quantum names have had a good bid behind them ever since the Willow chip got dropped by Google. And I'll submit to you, it was actually moving from before that. It really feels like it was a post-election play. And when you look at the actual, the price action, this definitely started breaking out the 7th of November. The 5th of November was the election. So it's definitely before Willow, and we were always talking about that. We're like, hey, how come these ones were breaking out without a headline? Someone must have known something about this Google chip. I still feel that way. In any event, we have higher lows. If you're looking at this area over here, that is January 13th, when I guess Jensen said that things were going to be way longer down the road than what was anticipated for quantum computing. So that low there is 353. Yes, this morning, we kind of got into that $4 area. Now we're being bought up quite aggressively on QBTS up into 518. So now my concern with this is it had a consolidative range around 5.25 and change. And then, it was kind of ranging in between 5 and 7. We gave up that level. We dropped into 4, and now we're trying to get back into the range. So I'm worried that maybe we lost that range, and, we're going to establish a lower range, maybe between 3.5 and 5. We'll wait and see. I like quantum for the long run. I don't know if QBTS is the right name. I'm not picking winners. I don't know enough to pick winners about these bad boys. But what I can tell you is it was in a bit of a consolidative range after, making these higher highs and higher lows and breaking into that 11.5. Then Jensen kind of tanked the entire industry, and we dropped and found a bit of this range over here. What looks like we were kind of bouncing off that 5.25 on QBTS. Maybe wait and see if you can kind of get above that 5.25 on a closing basis to see what the situation is for you to the top side there. Again, it looks like it's about a $7 range to the top side and about a $5 range to the downside. So did well here on this GRRR trade. We got in essentially at 37.5. I did wet my beak all the way up into that 38.25. It's still, it's really hard to get a print on this because the spread is so wide at times. Right now, it's about 21 pennies, give or take. So you trade this carefully. At the moment, too, I'm not going to get back into the position despite the fact that it's right back into my entry price here because it's very sideways. So it's lost its trend. It was very, trend heavy. For the majority of the day, until that 12 o'clock time slot came in, and it looks as if the algo got turned off right at 12 o'clock. That's kind of what it looks like there, because all the buying stopped, and then we dropped down, and we're in a bit of a consolidative mode right now on GRRR. So I'll continue to watch this one, see if it wants to catch a bid and make these higher highs and higher lows. Otherwise, I'm gravy, baby. Shout out to Jedi. I don't know what DOP is in currency, but thank you very much for the 500. Can we check what DOP is?
Yeah, of course.
Could you check out Marvell earnings are tomorrow? Let's have a look at MRVL. Set up the name over here. See what this...
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
What is it?
The Dominican Republic peso.
Hey, thank you very much for 500 Dominican pesos. I appreciate that. Here's Marvell. Let's throw the ticker on there so everybody can follow along. What do we got here for Marvell? All right, did we break this area support? So look at this area crest over here back on March 7th, 2024. So we have an $85 area wick with the closing print being around more like 82. That's exactly where we're at right now. So that's interesting. So this area here, very interesting for Marvell. It's already up 2 3/4. It's off the lows, but if you're looking at the trend, it's a bad trend, okay? It's lower lows, lower highs. It's been it topped off at that 127, essentially at the market highs towards the end of January. We are at a good technical area though. So this area could act as support. You know, things can change, obviously, when things, with the tariffs and stuff like that, it can fundamentally change how it is. And you're also below the 200 exponential moving average on the 5. That's around $90. And you've had multiple prints below that, 1, 2, 3, and today 4. So that kind of breaches the 3-period rule too if you're looking for a decided print below that level. This is the exponential though, I should warn you. So I don't know where the simple is. The simple could still be defending, but I do like this area over here on MRVL for a possible hold. Maybe, you know, if you were to get into here on, I don't know if you're swinging or you're looking for a longer term trade, give it maybe like $6 or something. If it doesn't hold 80s below that area support level, let me know how it goes. Marvell's not a stock I've ever invested in, watched, or traded. So aside from the technicals on the chart, I really can't help you out. What's going on over there, Katina Man? The Katina Man is short these TQs right now, guys. Where are you short, Katina Man? 69.30, the best price out there. We're going to hope you print up multiple storms, Katina Man. What do you got, Joseph?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find that expected move for you on Marvell there, my guy. So yeah, because we got the earnings is this evening, I believe someone said. So we're looking at 11.4%. So that can put us at a peak of around 98.13 and then a trough around 78. Ooh. So that's the expected move there on Marvell, guys. And I want to go over, considering that we are talking a little bit of earnings play, I want to see what we got cooking up. And what I see, and I just want to double check, fact check myself. See, I always get Salesforce and CrowdStrike mixed up for some reason, even though they're two totally different companies. But here we go. So we, excuse me. So we do. I'm looking for Marvell. I don't see it on this list, which you usually would. But anyways, we got CrowdStrike this evening, which I think is going to be a really big report here, guys. And I want to take a look at the expected move on CrowdStrike. I know from an options chain perspective, it's not usually the most liquid, nor does it have the most open interest at times, and that's fine. But we're going to take a look anyways to see what we got going on. And what we're looking at here from an options standpoint is about an 8.4% expected move with an IV around 119%, slightly elevated, but that'll put us at a peak of 416 and then a trough around 351, okay? So that is on CrowdStrike, but now let's take a look at the options chain and see what we got from an expected, an open interest standpoint with this week's expiration cycle. And exactly what I was just referring to earlier is that it doesn't always have the most open interest. It's not the most liquid options trade. So I'm looking down this chain and there's nothing significant that stands out and says, hey, this is where we're going to go to, or any high levels of open interest. Like the highest level I'm looking at right now is 400. 400 with only 743 contracts, not even 1,000, so just 743. So it's the OI on that isn't overly exuberant, I guess, there, guys. So that is that on CrowdStrike and Marvell. I don't think there's anything else really too hot coming out. Oh, Ross Stores as well is coming, is this evening as well too, Sharif. So those would be the only two that I would really keep my eye on. But other than that, guys, what do you got going on there?
Eddie R asks, Eddie R gets, we're going to hit the O Canada for my man Eddie R. Absolutely, but you don't have to convince me.
You don't have to hit that
to do that. Yeah, shout out to Canada.
Shout out to Canada.
Bit of a tougher day, of course, but as the Katina Man pointed out, our market's still above that 200 exponential. I hope.
Want to take a look at it?
Or that moving average, that is. Yeah.
Did you look at that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
I don't know if you got. I don't have TSX data.
We got it. We got it.
Oh,
here.
you got it. Yeah, look at this guy. Okay. Where's the 200 at?
I don't really use moving average those, man. My guy. Katina Man says it's right there, 24,000. So we're still above it apparently. So we're kicking in somewhere around there. But this is really similar to the NAS and the SPY. It is really scary looking, and we're running into some support zones here as well too, Sharif. We do have that little bit of a bounce, but be weary of some potentially more downside. But look at this monstrous run since October of 23 here, Sharif, that the TSX went on, and no one probably would have guessed that. So the TSX composite right there looking really, really good.
Are we going to Adara or what?
I didn't hear anything.
I thought we were going to
No.
Okay, guys, ask this. is making moves. Finally, there's a small cap gap right there that's above VWAP. Actually doing the requisite amount of volume. It's at a good area right now, 29.5, technically 29.46 HOD. It's very respectful of the 10 exponential, but it's found itself in this bit of a consolidative move. Now, what we've seen from Astis on the day is its propensity to want a bull flag. Case in point. Look at this area over here. There, if you want to take it from after the close, let's go 9:30 onwards. Big boy boom. And then we consolidate. We do the flag. Then big boy boom. And then, yeah, you get it. We consolidate again. So this is like the second consolidative phase. We're on our way possibly to $30. So let's see if we can extract something, or not extract, sorry, get something in on this bad boy, maybe towards that $29 area. I'm going to go hang out, maybe 29.10s. We'll see if we can get something in and around there. I'd like to defend it ideally into 80s because we have a bit, we've shown our propensity to bounce off 80 before, but it does look like it's going to get away from me here. I don't want to punch in at highs on a day like this. So if I don't get an entry on it, I don't get an entry on it, but I have to get something decently priced here that if it, retraces, at least I have an entry closer to my out. That's my thinking on this bad boy. It's shown 29, as I mentioned, 29.46 HOD. It's been very respectful of the 10 exponential since breaking out again. I want to say essentially since 11:50. So we're going on an hour of 10 minutes of respect. There we go. We got the entry at 10s. Let's go ahead and weasel something out here if we can, and layer said orders if we're able to. There we go. Nice pop up there. A quick extraction. Let's see if we can pop up into that $0.25. I've got something at the $0.25 here. I don't mind adding into this bad boy, but it's going to have to hold the 10. Currently, the 10 exponential moving average, 29.89. Let's go ahead and set something up for a dip trade into 29 mid-80s. Well, high 80s. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to wait at 88s, see if we can get anything in around there. Showing me 19s right now. I'm waiting at 24s on Astis, up 13, almost in 3/4, 13.83%. Looking for a bump up there on this name. Keeping an eye, though, on MLGO. Keeping an eye on GER. Here we go. GER's re-emerging to the high side over here. Still below that area where I wet my beak at around 38.25. Still showing me 13s. But it is kind of putting in the higher low, and it is bouncing. I'm looking at my side chart right now. It is bouncing off the 20 exponential moving average on the 5. I'm talking about GRRR, and it's been like, one of the anomalies of the day that's actually directionally strong and maintaining its direction to the high side. It had a good headline yesterday. We'll see if it wants to continue today. It's right at the area where I got out. So let's see if this one will have me as a possible entry again. Let's go back and look at Astis. All right, we got the print again there. Let's hang out at the $0.33 now on ASTS, and then simultaneously go back to GRRR over here and ask ourselves, are we going to punch in at these local highs, or what are we going to do over here, Joseph?
What are we?
Because we're rejecting off that $0.25, an area where we have rejected before. I don't want to take a print on the break of the $0.50. I'm talking about 38.5. I think that would not be a good idea, taking a breakout trade on the day. Ooh, decisions. Oh, there is the print on Astis again. So we're long 10s. We just got 35s. Let's set up now in the mid 40s. See if we can get something in around there. On ASTS, good move up, guys. On ASTS, it is quite directional on the day. If you are looking for a small cap gapper, I don't want to say this is the one, but this looking awfully good. I'm waiting at 45s. It's showing me 40s right now. So let's see if we can get that cross and move into the north side. But it's zigging and zagging, Joseph, as it gets into that high. Because, well, when you get into those highs, people take profits as well as reinstitute shorts. Having said that, let's see what Adair has to say.
Target on watch here. This is already a day one earnings play, so you would have been looking at it maybe anyway. But we have more news. Apparently, they announced they have strategic plans to drive more than $15 billion in sales growth by 2030. So if you're trading Target, be aware the company has announced strategic plans to drive more than $15 billion in sales growth by 2030. Back to you.
I remember
I like driving sales growth. I don't know how about you feel about driving sales
I'm
growth.
okay with
I'm
that.
okay with that too.
I remember when I was in school in Guelph in 2011,
Yes, sir.
there was a Target that popped up It's not the Stone Road Mall. I forget. It was one across the street.
they
but it only it lasted
in a hurry.
Like, it was in the same year.
In a
it was
hurry,
there,
bro.
and it was
They came
built,
for
and then
like
it
2
was
years and
gone.
left, bro.
Which is crazy.
They don't have success up here. Nordstrom. I was talking to Dara about this in the morning. Nordstrom came and I don't know how long they lasted. 2-3 years.
No, Nordstrom was here for a longer. I think. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, JW.
We'll find out.
It's JWN.
6-7 years. Ram saying fair.
It lasted. Yeah, Nordstrom.
She was a frequent shopper, spending daddy's money. Yeah. They knew you by first and last name. I like that. Get it, Ram. No, but yeah, to make case in point, I think you're right about that. They were here a little bit longer, but they haven't had success.
No, they haven't had. It's hard. It's hard, man.
It's hard. Yeah, the Canadian consumer is discerning.
We'd rather shop at Roots or something like that. You know what I mean? Hey, man, I bought a nice.
I don't mind
hat.
Roots.
Yeah,
bro.
I got a nice Roots.
Good
hat.
quality clothes.
Good quality clothes. I bought a nice hat from there the other day. So,
there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Good look. But yeah, guys, let's see what else we got cooking up. See, it's really weird here now, Shreve. We got this news coming out of the EU. But on Apple. But the thing is, though, why was it? It was holding up relatively strong. The market was selling heavily, and then now that it's just like almost like the VIX, it has an inverse correlation. It doesn't, obviously. I'm being sarcastic to that point, but again, it's just holding. And days on end, it was holding well. The market was selling off, and then when the market decides that it wants to put in a little bit of a pump, this thing decides to sell off on the news. So heading into some key support levels, we're not going to chase it all the way down here. If we get a pullback, then maybe we'll look to take the leg lower. But as of right now, haven't sat on it. Haven't really traded anything other than that Nvidia trade, and I'm waiting for that pullback. I seen Katina Man said he reloaded at 115. So nice look there. Let's see if we get anything south of 115, then maybe we'll look to join that one again and take it a little bit higher. But what I am liking right here and right now is Tesla, my friend. Oh, no.
What happened?
I just clicked. I clicked the wrong thing there. Tesla, exactly. Bang. So here we go. TSLA is going to be my vehicle. The 2x leverage. Unfortunately, I'm going to be tapping into at the high, which isn't always the best idea, especially running into these resistance zones. But if that volume on the lower time frame really starts to kick in, then we can probably really get the ball rolling on this. I'll get out here. If we do come a little bit south of that, then I'll just punch out. And then if we breach through VWAP, then I'll look for that continuation to the top side because the market is strong. But Shreve, before I send it back to you, it is time for the Playmaker.
You ready?
Yeah, no. Okay, now I'm ready. Number 55. I am ready. We are whoa. Do we even know? We don't want to jump the gun anymore because we went long yesterday, but it was a short. It really close. The past couple sessions, very tight race.
51.49 long.
Yeah, very tight race.
Okay, I like that.
So we're going long.
We're
today,
going
Shreve.
long. We're doing it live, baby. Someone just said in the chat that we're in sync, so I think
there we go.
Yeah,
we're doing it live. All right, let's go.
576.92.
576.92. I feel like when they do that shot on me, I feel like my grandparents when they type on the keyboard. You know what I mean? Oh my days! All right, let's what do we got?
56. We said 576.92.
Yeah.
So we're wetting our beak for profits. 578.92.
578.92. Bang.
And then we're getting stopped out. 575.92.
575.92. Perfect. Thank you for that, my friend. Yeah, take it over there, my guy.
All right, guys, we're printing well over here on Astis. Is breaking the $0.50. We're long 10s. I've wet the beak there up into mid 40s. Now basically we are at the high of the day right now on ASTS at 52s. So I don't really know where to take profits here because I didn't chart on the daily. So I'm going to wait at the 2/3 of a dollar, see what will come what may. This is putting in nice higher highs and higher lows, but it is at that $0.50. So we'll see if that acts as an area resistance level. I also weaseled my way into GER. I've got 87s here. It's showing me 93s. I'm still waiting for a possible print at 20. So GRR also putting in higher lows, despite the fact that it looks consolidative. The dip trades into that 20 exponential moving average have all been bought up. So what do we got here on GER? Let's see if we can weasel out some here near the whole dollar. So we got 87s. Yeah, let's go ahead and wait right here for the first out, and then we'll see if we can get something to the high side. So We'll keep an eye out on that one. I've only got one more out though for ASTS. So I've left this dip trade here below 29s. I don't know if this is valid anymore. I'm talking about this dip trade here on ASTS. I don't think it's valid only because it would breach a $29 area and does look like we had some support there. So I'm going to take that off. I don't need to have that on at the moment, that dip trade. On ASTS, let's take that bad boy off. Where is it? Show yourself. There we go. So we'll take that bad boy off, and then we'll see if it'll have us to the high side there at the 2/3 of a dollar. Back to GER. So we'll see if this one can cross the whole dollar at 38. The higher low situation is not bad. It looks like it's bull flagging, but I don't want to be quick to make that assessment because it's been a very down day on this market. So, and with the Russ as well, being down 1 1/3%, you don't want to put too much stock into some of these area holds on these small cap gappers. So waiting at 95s, it's showing me 95s, but because of the spread, we're going to have to wait a little bit longer here, see if we can get something popping to the high side on GRRR. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, good look there. Sure, I told you I got a new phone the other. Well, it's not really new old one there, but I didn't really.
Is that an Apple?
Yeah, it is an Apple.
It's nice. What version of that?
12.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah,
all right.
we didn't really contribute to the super cycle that was supposed to happen. So we got the 12.
That's where I was going with that, right?
Yeah. We didn't contribute to that. But I mean, with the old one, man, I was just running out of space. There was nothing left for storage. I remember I sent Neil a message, and then because I had no space left, it just unloaded the app, right?
Yeah,
I couldn't re-download it.
I hate
and
that.
at that point, I've already deleted half of everything on the phone.
Neil's so confused. He's
Yeah.
like, what?
The other last week, yeah. It was, but it was in the morning time when I sent you a message. Would you say Ram? Would you say Ramin? I'm curious to know what you said.
Man, you guys don't even know what she just said to me in my ear, man. Oh my God, what I have to put up with on
but here we go. So
this place.
Neil's just eating his apple and everything. But here we go. We're starting to trade higher here. On I know Katina Man hit the money there. What are you in the
there
Tesla?
It is.
Is it Tesla money? We're long to Nvidia again,
Nice,
so he's in there.
Katina Man.
So he's crushing it. But also Tesla,
Crash it.
this volume is starting to pick up here on Tesla. Tesla is starting to pick up on the lower time frames here, guys. So that's what we need in order for us to break through this resistance zone. As you can see, if we were to draw just a basic trend line right here, we can see that something that was acting as support can now act as prior resistance. So just that over-under look there. Again, not positioned overly well in this trade, because if I'm looking for an out, it has to be south of this consolidation phase, not in the middle of it, because the stock is trading in that. So that's exactly what we want to look for. We want to put stops lower. So RVR not the best. You want to get in the lower end of that range. Let's see if we can break through this resistance. If that volume is sustained, I think we get it here, Sharif.
All right, Joseph, finally Man, I couldn't catch a dub if I put my life on it today, but we're catching a couple of dubs now. So GRR, we're long 84s, just took the print there at 15s, at 10s. Now I'm waiting at, I took the print at 20s, excuse me. Now we're waiting at the 1/3 of a dollar, showing me 30s right now. So let's see that one. Now this one we did quite well on. I'm talking about Astis. Took out the high of the day there, baby, at 66s. Shout out to Randy. So ASTS continuing to move up, continuing to put higher lows and higher highs. So, oh, wow, there it
Let's
goes.
go, Tesla.
Get it, man. You're in Tesla?
Yeah,
TSLA?
TSLA, bang. Let's go TSLL. We like this one. I opened up my charts this morning, and I'm like, Sharif, wow, this thing's at $11? Like, what? $11? I'm in TSLA at 11.
Club,
hit the dollar club, bro. 11.
Hey.
I love that track. I need that full song, man. Yeah.
Plus another 2 for Nvidia.
Plus another 2. Don't forget the Nvidia trade there. We don't want to forget that one there. But here we go, guys. Starting to piece them out here above those ranges. Volume is sustained here on this breakout. This is exactly what we need. Continue there, my guy.
Yes, sir. Okay, so we're still waiting here for GRRR to wet the beak at the 1/3 of a dollar. It's showing me the 1/3 now. Give me the print, bro. It's showing me 32s. I'm waiting at 33s. We'll pack our patience. We'll see what comes for this bad boy right now. Oh, there it is. Bang! We take out the print. Now we're going to wait the $1/2. Show me the $1/2, Joseph. So now we're going to wait there. Let's see if we can get something at the $1/2. And bang! We take it out at the $1/2. Let's wait. You know where I'm going to wait now. 69. The print goes. Let's see if we can get that bad boy on GRRR. We're out of
No, you
shares.
did. Oh, I thought you were going to go.
No, we're out of shares.
We're just going to call
We're out of shares.
We're
I
just going to
suck.
call it the Devin Haney from now on.
Devin Haney sucks. I hope there's not too many Devin Haney fans in the chat, but he's not my
Or
favorite.
himself, yeah,
bro.
or
He's not
himself
my
there.
favorite.
But I was saying that to you yesterday. How is this guy the champion of the division, and then he's the co-main event of the?
Sitting there flaunting an undefeated record. Bro, you got knocked out, man.
You lost, man.
Shut up.
It's crazy how who is it that revoked Ryan's win there?
It was Nevada.
Yeah,
State Athletic Commission?
exactly. Yeah, the Nevada State.
Yeah, I always
Athletic
thought that was
Commission.
interesting, Joseph. Why can't he go to like another country that doesn't abide by the Nevada, whatever the U.S. rules for boxing?
Ryan?
Yeah, like remember?
Yeah, he could have. He could have went and fought in.
Remember
Saudi,
when Ali, when they stripped him of the belt in the 70s because he wouldn't he wouldn't fight in Vietnam?
Yeah.
And then he had to go fight elsewhere. He went to Zaire back in the day. It was called Zaire.
He could have done. Ryan could have went to.
That's what I'm saying. Why didn't he do that?
Because he's busy doing other things. Let's see what Adair's up to. Let's go.
Keep an eye here on CARR. We have reports here. Apparently, Barron's magazine has chosen Carrier Global, CARR, as a tariff winner pick. So I guess the name that's likely to benefit or at least not be hurt as much by tariffs, CARR pushing to the upside. So keep an eye on Carrier Global. Back to you. Back to Dash Brothers.
Pretty much, Adara. All right, guys, still keeping an eye here on GRR, but I want to let you know that MLGO, that one that we were involved in earlier, just broke out, not into the high of the day. Excuse me, MLGO, there we go. So there was a consolidative range here at 10s, and you don't need to be a chartered market technician to see that it kept rejecting off 10s. So that's where I wet the beak there initially, and then it kind of got right back in there, rejected again, got back in there again, rejected. All the while it was rejecting, it was putting in these higher lows, okay? So right now, look at this. It clears it. It goes up to 4.25, drops back down, defends 10. 10 was resistance. Now it's looking like it's local support. So I'm going to try to get in here, okay? We're going to give this one an opportunity again. Let's see where we're long. We're long 19s. I'll DCA into 10. In fact, let's throw those orders out now. We're going to sit at 15s. We're going to sit at 11s, no, 12s, front run that. So we'll see if we can get something here on MLGO now that it's cleared the level. It doesn't breach any of my rules punching in here. It's above VWAP. It's above the pre-market high, but it has been a bamboozler, okay? That's the way I perceive it to be. So let's go ahead and throw out a couple of orders over here. We're going to wait at the $0.25, which is this area high, so it's going to have to clear that little high there for us to get printed. It's up 9% on the day. I don't mind, again, as I mentioned, DCing into this, but it's going to have to be in the 10s, and then it's going to have to hold up there. Otherwise, I'll get stopped out. Simple as that. Astis continuing to dance around the high of a day, but this is the one I want to talk about. GRR is continuing to go. So we're done this trade over here because, well, we didn't have enough shares, but it does look like it's on its way to 39, guys. So a nice curl over here defends generally that 37.5. It did wick below there, obviously, but look at the closing prints are all in and around 37.5. And then we got I don't want to call it a rounded bottom because it's not at a bottom, but it does look like kind of a bull flag with a weird shape of a bowl rather than kind of a pennant or, an upward or downward channel, which is typically what we're used to with these bull flags. So definitely interested in GRRR. It's relatively strong on the day. There it goes again into 39s. Joseph close to. It just topped out there, I believe, in the low 80s. So this one is up 20% and continuing to go. Bull flag, Adara. Ooh. Adara, that's brilliant. I put my money on her, bro. Where is he? Yeah, he's not back there, so I don't feel bad. Bull flag. Not bull flag, but a bull flag, because I said it was doing that bull shape.
A bull flag.
Bro. I don't know. I don't have anything other than to say.
That was all right.
It's a bull flag.
Yeah,
you didn't think that was good because you got your money on Obi.
You know what I mean?
So you're biased.
Hey.
You got no money?
Hey now.
I'm a rock star.
No, I was thinking, hey now. Hey. No, the other song.
Paid.
The other song, like, hey now.
I like that one.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
there's a bunch of hey nows.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of hey nows here.
Get it, Neo.
Lizzie McGuire.
Oh, Jug Meat's on CNN. Get it, Jug Meat. Running for Canadian Prime Minister. Yeah, no. Neil's laughing.
That's great. All right. Anyways, Johnny Ani Smith. Sorry, I gotta stop leaning forward like that. Johnny Ani Smith I 1,000% agree with you. Loma won that Devin Haney fight. I'm glad that you put in your chime that in because I think that he won that fight. So there we go. But guys, Tesla, TSLA, working really, really well. And it's funny. Just to take a couple steps back last night, I'm just watching my classic CNBC snippets in the evening time, and it's like everybody's bearish, and then now, sure enough, the next day you get that market bounce, and it's like, what's going on here? So when the big boys are saying, okay, yeah, let's tone it down here a little bit, we're gonna go to the south side, then everything just seems to bounce here. So yeah, just be wary of that, guys. And we are kind of in oversold conditions too, Sharif. You got to take that into consideration as well too, right? Like it's very rarely where you see these big tech names go down 15, 18, 20% without somewhat of a pullback here. And I'm not saying that's the case right now, but eventually it will come into fruition and then you will see that pullback. Does that mean that the bearish trend is over and completed? No, I don't think so. But you will get a pullback in these names because I mentioned the other side of the trade as well too, guys. But I got to point something out here, Sharif.
What?
We've been have 5,000 viewers essentially the whole show.
How many likes we got?
Yeah, not even 10%, my guy. Not even 10%. So do us a solid here.
Let's just go.
Let's just go. You want to fight? All right, yeah, it's done.
All right.
That's it. We're out of here. He's out of here.
No, we should actually get up. If Brendan wasn't here, I'd be getting...
he would go.
Shut the screen off.
Because there's, you know why?
Fantastic,
there's curry potatoes in the back, and I'm getting a little peckish. So you know what I mean?
I extracted some of those.
I did. I grabbed some.
Some of that meat. I extracted some of that meat. Yeah, of course I did. I saw protein there.
The ground beef. Hey, all right. I skipped out on that. We went a little bit veggies there, my guy. But that's okay. Yeah, I like the veggies, man. I was a vegetarian for a year.
For real, huh?
Yeah.
That your own decision or a decision of a different person?
No, it was my own.
Okay, you saw where
who would decide what I'm gonna eat though?
You know exactly what I'm getting at. Stop pretending like you don't know what I'm insinuating.
I don't. I have no idea because I would never experience anything if I want to eat it.
That's what I want to hear, Joseph. That's what I want to hear.
Clap. I'd be just like, pardon me, and then just continue to eat.
I love it, dog.
But yeah, here we go, guys. Let's get those likes up a little bit here. We got 600 now, and that's all we're asking. Just like and subscribe. Not asking for a lottery ticket or anything along those lines. So thank you guys very much. Kanye East. Hey. Haven't seen you in a while, my guy. Welcome back to the good. Dude, I was like in my mid-20s when I did that. And I was fighting at the time, yeah.
Vegan or vegetarian?
I still ate eggs, I guess. So whatever you want to call it. I just cut out like hamburgers and everything else like that. So you know what I mean? Steak.
I wouldn't mind trying to be pescatarian for a little bit.
So fish and eggs.
Yeah. I didn't know eggs are included in pescatarian. I didn't know that. I thought it was just fish.
I thought you would know that.
No, I just thought it was fish.
No way.
Eggs in pescatarian is allowed?
Yeah, I think
Say that again, Dara?
It's only vegan.
Only vegan, you can't have eggs. Didn't know that. Okay, interesting.
Well, I mean, vegan.
That meal you got there is pescatarian, Ramran?
Okay,
I saw tofu in your food the other day. Yeah, I know. I know, but it's like, I'd rather have like an animal protein rather than, Fair. Okay, she doesn't like their chicken. Okay, Queen Ram doesn't like it.
Yeah, she told me to get sushi the other day.
Yeah, she told me,
I'm like, hey, I don't know if I really like that with that. And she said, well, go get sushi or something.
That's okay. Sushi's sick.
And get shawarma too, yeah.
Have you ever had Shawarma Max across the road?
Shawarma Q?
It's not. Isn't it short? Is it Shawarma Q? I thought it was Shawarma Max. Yeah, because the one by my house.
I've crushed that.
It's not too bad.
Had it on Friday actually.
You had it on Friday. Why am I shocked?
Why are you? Whoa! Are you shocked?
Because like that's every time we have a party at the floor and it's after hours. That's the place everybody's going.
You gotta go over there.
After they, you know what I'm saying?
Real quick. You know what I mean?
So yes,
that's it.
Animal protein. Get it, Tammy. Look, man. I mean. Yeah, we're not going to go down that road. But in any event, MLGO, guys, defending. There we go. So it's now into that area that we were talking about, that 410 area. It's going to have to hold up above the volume-weighted average price, and it's going to have to continue to make higher lows, and that is the question right now. So a newer low comes at about 404, the breach of 404 or 405. So we've got 416 right now. Cost basis on this one, it's showing me 12s on the ask, 10 on the bid. So we'll see if this one wants to pop up. MLGO's bamboozled me before. I had an entry on it, a decent trade. It ended up breaking down. It didn't hold trend. So we'll see if it holds trend this time around. Yeah, we'll see. bit of a harder trading these small cap gappers today. Let's see some of the other ones we were involved in. ASTS kind of topping out at 29.75 for the moment, coming back in to below that $0.50. Now you're getting 40 something prints here on the bid. We'll see. Well, where's the price action support there? Okay, so it looks as if we were certainly rejecting that $0.50 for a bit, at least on the 1 minute. You had multiple topping tails into that $0.50, 40 penny area, and then it rejected. Then we cleared it by some distance. Now it looks like, you know, clearing it 40 pennies, some odd. We're actually using that 40 penny area as support. I'm not gonna trade upon that basis. Just too close to the highs there. It's gonna have to come in to a more predictable area. Let's see what that predictable area is on ASTS. Well, we got the 10 exponential here on the 5 minute at around 29.25. Okay. We also have that $29 area that we know was price action resistance, because on the way up, we kind of rejected it. Then we had this big boy candle here come out and take the high. So 29 could be an area. We'll have to wait and see. What else we got here? What are you guys looking at in small cap gapper world? I usually have Bovin, Nimit as well. They're always telling me exactly what's going on in small cap gapper world, especially for the ones that are sub $1, which I don't usually see on my scanner. So let me know what you guys are doing there. If you're trading these small caps, if you're not, what else you're looking at, tag me. Let me know what is good there. Canna Club Chicago. I don't think you Canadians have seen Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. Would I be able to sing that if I didn't know? If I didn't know about Carmen Sandiego? Come on, bro. We don't live in the South Pole. We live closer to the North Pole. I'm kidding. Let's see what else people are saying there.
We do live closer to the North Pole.
Say it again, Ram.
You said something is our neighbor.
Stuart, looking at PTIX. Let's have a look at PTIX, see what Stuart's talking about there. PTIX, Ram. What do we got over here? Ooh, okay, it's a sub $1 name. Okay, I asked for it. Okay, well, this one was definitely doing something there after the bell. It feels like an earnings winner possibly, because it spiked up right at $4, did a kind of a sideways dance. We gave back a lot, man, of that move. We popped up into about what? There, 58 pennies, dropped down to about 32. We're above, VWAP right now. But Stuart, the deal is with these small cap gappers, I won't trade them if they're trading below the pre-market high. Sadly, this one spiked really early at 4:10 a.m., topped out there at 57, 56 and a half pennies. So this one breaches my rules. I won't trade this one. But thank you for calling it out. Let me know what else you guys are looking at. BGZ is shorting Palantir. Okay. APLD is semi-strong, says Fiddlebeck. Let's have a look at APLD, Applied Digital. Okay, not bad. Certainly, just went green there above that 690 area, topped out at 707. Looks like it's respecting the 10 exponential, dipping in here with a 2-candle red setup after breaching 7, coming down in though to 697, which is technically a defend of the 10 exponential. Let's see if it defends that level and then works its way back up. Looks like we had a really aggressive red day on APLD yesterday with an 840 high, and then we ended up closing the day out at 690. So giving back quite a bit there. Let's see what, let's see what we get there. I'll keep an eye out on that one. Guys, new poll is out. You got Tesla. You got goggles. I'm pretty sure I included Tesla in the first one, no?
Did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, all good. And I put
didn't even see
the
which
first one
Yeah.
too. I put BTC. It's okay.
I didn't see that one, so we'll switch it up there.
I'm going to vote Tesla.
All right, we'll overlap
because Tesla's down 4.5%, Joseph. That's it's a bit of an ugly day today.
I thought I looked at the other one before. I thought you had some. Yeah. I thought you had some different ones in there.
Good. We'll fix it up. No worries.
I see Nat Gas, Arm, Lee, SMCI.
Okay, so then I didn't have any of those. And I'm dreaming.
That was
I'm
yesterday.
delusional.
No, I'm mega delusional because that says yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. I'm pretty sure I put those in.
Yeah. It's all right.
No, it's all good.
Hey, it goes through a finger or two, you know what I mean? Everything's gravy, man. Don't panic. Everybody, it's okay.
What's going on there, Randy?
We're discussing EVs.
EVs.
He's discussing EVs with the Katina man. He's having coffee.
So I was going to Farm Boy over the weekend.
Say it again, Katina man?
Discussing this EV charging.
Oh, yeah.
EV charging.
Sorry to interrupt you, Joseph.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
We're getting EV charging. We're getting 3, Randy? Maybe two. Okay, so we're getting some EV charging plugs specific to our company, right? Not for the building. Being put in by the owner of this place. Shout out to him. And that's going to maybe get some of us to get some EVs. You're not getting an EV, though. Well, you are getting an EV though, are you
Not a
not?
hybrid.
It's a hybrid. It's the hybrid. Okay, so it's plug-in hybrid. You're gonna get the Macan. Cayenne, excuse me. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, the Macan is electric because they have a full electric
pure
Macan,
elec-
right?
yeah,
Yeah. You're holding on to the old Cayenne, which is diesel, and you're babying the you know what out of that because it's a diesel, so it can definitely do many miles.
Yes.
And then you're gonna add on top of that the plug-in hybrid, but you're gonna hold on to the old boy. Love it, man. And so let me ask you a quick question. You know what plug we're gonna get? Is it gonna be the North American Standard?
The NACS.
NACS. And the plug-in hybrids work off NACS?
Yep.
It does. Okay, so that's a good look there.
It comes with the adapter if it doesn't, the J1229 adapter.
Like the Rivians,
Yep.
they come with the adapter.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Okay, I'm repeating what he says. He comes in with the North American adapter. He's talking about the plugs that we're gonna get put in. When is that, Randy? Are we gonna get it next week?
No.
No.
Next month.
Next month. Okay. No worries. So we're getting next month. Say that again, Katina Man? The Katina Man's got over on that next month business. He's at the 6-month mark. Okay. Eddie R, you will directly plug in the muscle tonificator. What does that even mean, Eddie? Shout out to you. You always make me chuckle, brother. All right, let's see what Johnny H talking about ChargePoint, because we're talking about these EV charging. Let's see what CHPT's up to. ChargePoint, Joseph, what do we got here? Wow, this is a sub $1 name now, Ram. When I was trading this, it used to be like a multi-dollar name. CHPT, at least it's catching a bid off that 57 penny low, and we're moving into 64 pennies. It's time to buy this one. No, I'm kidding. Don't buy it. Adara, what's up?
So, a couple pieces of news here for a couple different Mag 7 tickers. We're going to start with the information, apparently publishing an article saying that smugglers have been shifting attention to Nvidia's gaming chips due to growing demand for consumer products that can run DeepSeek models. So because DeepSeek models don't need high-end Nvidia AI chips, they've been looking for Nvidia gaming chips. So Nvidia gaming chips, apparently a hot commodity. Then we also have here the information reporting separately that Meta is planning a massive AI data center and new chatbot push. Not super surprising. We know Meta's been looking to increase its AI spend, but regardless, the information reporting that Meta is planning a, quote, massive AI push specifically with data centers and chatbots. Back to you.
He looked
Why
away
is
and
he fighting
slapped him.
him? Why is he fighting that
What
guy?
is that, bro?
Why is he fighting?
If you want
that
to
guy?
punch someone, punch them while you're looking them in the face, not look away and then have fade. And
We shouldn't. We can't even mention the other guy's name.
Which guy?
The other guy that was
Which
in the
guy is
video.
that?
I can't. I'm not saying his name.
We're talking about the KSI fight. He's fighting a guy named Dylan something or another there.
Yeah,
What's
don't
his
even-
name?
don't even
Dylan
mention
Danis.
it. Yeah, don't even mention it.
You know who he is? Yeah. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
these guys are
big time.
YouTubers.
That's what I
are they
said,
not?
man. No,
KSI's a YouTuber as well, isn't he?
Dude, he was Conor McGregor's sparring partner for a while.
KSI?
No.
Oh, Dylan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I'm not
Dylan
going to say
Dennis,
his name.
I see.
I'm not going to say his name. And then that's who Habib, during that UFC fight, when he jumped out of the cage, and that's who he leaped at.
He was attacking this guy?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
KSI just slapped him.
Yeah, well, he deserves it.
And then he looked away and then slapped him too. Like, that is ultimate.
Never mind.
Anyway.
Never mind that guy.
Interesting. All right. Blaze Wavy. Come on now, man. You're going to get, of course it's going to get blocked when you say that. All right, guys, we're still involved in MLGO. It's still defending that 10 penny level, but it is putting in lower lows and lower highs. We'll see if we can get that 10s, and then maybe it defends that level. It was a resistance level for a long time. I'm talking about the 410 level on MLGO. Let's see if it acts as support now, and then maybe wants to move up to the high side. We got 16s. It did pop up into 16s, but it is still making lower lows. GRRR, though, feels like it's the gift that keeps on giving because it is now kind of doing this rounding effect again. He's still putting in higher lows. You're not getting a big boy breakout on GRRR. Why isn't this thing updating? 38.84. Is this thing yet? Yeah, okay. I'm thinking about possibly punching in here again on GRRR, but there does seem to be some resistance at 39. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw an order towards that $0.25, okay? I'm going to wait at the $0.25. If I can get the $0.25, that would be aces for me rather than punching in at 60. Reason is I'll get out below 38. So that would mean I'm only risking 25 pennies now. The obvious drawback of that is I may not get filled. Showing me 30s right now. I'm waiting at 25s. Let's see if we can get something here on GRRR. I perceive this to be kind of still continuing to rounded to give that rounding effect, possibly for another 39 break, and then maybe even a 40 break with that 39.62 high of the day. I'm also keeping an eye on Astis over here. So, okay, we got the MLGO ad at the 10 penny area. Now, I'm also keeping an eye on, where is Astis, by the way? There it is. This one did dip into 29, has a bit of a bottoming tail candle into 29, which is a little bit higher than the 20 exponential moving average. So let's see if we can possibly get something in this. This one looks awfully strong as well. Look at that. It already shot up 50 pennies more. Oh, wow. This one's really getting away from me there. So definitely missed that entry on ASTS. Good strength there into 29. And then right back up into that 29, almost in a third there. Zigging back down into that third of a dollar. This is obviously a candle of indecision, but it is engulfing the previous candle. So it does feel like a bullish engulfing candle over here on ASTS, not like I usually use these chart patterns, or these candlestick patterns, I should say, on these small cap gappers. I'm debating whether to punch in here, Joseph. Interesting on Astis over here. Let's see what we can get. What are you looking at there, Katina Man? The Katina Man's 379 handles in on the Qs. No, he's 100 handles on the Qs. We're exaggerating for effect. It's a fantastic trade today for the guy. Shout out to you, Katina Man. You killed it today. Good trade on the Qs. Good trade on Tesla. Good trade on Nvidia. Shout out to Sean. All right, keeping my eye here on Astis, looking for a possible pullback here that we can get something closer to the $0.25. It is not giving me anything, though, Joseph, and we're only about 25 pennies away from that high. What do you got on your side, my man?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for something to set up here, guys. So this was our TSLA trade. We took about half the position, a little bit more, maybe 60%, and then we got stopped out break even here. But see, the thing is, though, that's why I talk about risk to reward all the time. You got to see, like, so I'm in the middle of this range, and then price wants to come back and trade within the middle of that range, right? So if I had a better entry, then I can hold on to this position significantly better. And I think that's something to know. Entry is always really key, especially in the starting of the position, right? You can always add into it, and it'll bring your average up. But then if like I just mentioned here, if I'm in at the base, then I can still hold on to this break even, potential add here, and then look for that additional leg to the top side. But yeah, guys, a lot of these names trading significantly well today. Google took that second leg higher as well too. So a little bit of some choppy price action here. Nice indecision candle in the pre-market, and then you get that strong 5-minute opening drive with the inability to breach any lower consolidation phase, and then we take that leg higher, second consolidation phase, and then the second leg higher there. But again, nothing crazy, no continuation really, but we are holding that support level really well, so keep that in mind. Can we climb higher? Hopefully so. Second largest holding in the long term there, and we're down probably about 18% now off those lows, which isn't the most pretty, 17 and a fifth there. So just keep that in mind. Hopefully we can continue this bounce in Google. Slightly oversold. I was talking to my buddy Gorav in the chat there about some potential selling some puts here, and I like that 195. You can, so that I wrote it in the chat earlier. So if you do a contract combination, so a bull put spread on Amazon, so that would be selling the 195s and then buying the 190s, you can collect 83 cents a contract there, Sharif. So that's a pretty penny with a high probability as well too. I didn't really look at the delta on those, but you're looking at like a 70, so a 0.3 delta or something along those lines, which is really, really good. So yeah, we'll do that. I tried playing this bounce, and I had an exit at 120, but it just tapped 195, and then ended up taking an L on the swing. We broke that trend line to the downside. So now looking for somewhat of a bounce in some of these big names here, and I think that we're going to get it eventually because they're down double digits, a lot of the Mag 7. So we got to take that into consideration. I mentioned time and time again the put to call ratio and being on the other side of that trade. So that is really important. I like that Amazon trade, and we're going to look to get back into Tesla. I should have got in at the low here at that support level, but let's see what Adair's up to.
Keep an eye on Oracle, keep an eye on Microsoft, and keep an eye on any names, or I guess ARM is the other name to keep an eye on here. Basically, Wall Street Journal is reporting that Lutnick here, Howard Lutnick, the U.S. Commerce Secretary, is planning new funding rules which are seen as being beneficial for Starlink. Starlink, of course, is that pretty massive AI data center funding operation which is again led by Oracle, Microsoft's OpenAI, and also ARM. So keep an eye on these three tickers. Apparently, as reported by Wall Street Journal, there's going to be some new funding rules in the work, which are seen as very beneficial for these companies. Another area to look at would be energy names that are related to AI data centers. One of them would be Vistra, VST, because Starlink is starting in Texas, where VST has their home base. Back to you.
Yeah.
All right, Joseph, we got to pay some bills, baby. All right, e-signal. New traders, listen up. First month, it's free. That's right, we're waiving the fees. You get to trade smarter, not harder by upgrading to Elite. You'll be able to strategize, analyze, and then capitalize on their platform. It's got everything: infinite data, instant trading, lightning-fast market insights, and game-changing charts. You can also predict better with good backtesting. You get reliable, real-time data, global markets, literally at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now if you're ready to elevate your trading. Scan that QR code or check the link in the description. Shout out to the great folks at e-signal. All right, we weaseled into GRR. I got in at 38 and a third, and then we weaseled all the way up into 39.10s. I didn't trade this properly. I took out too much too quickly, and it ended up we've got nothing left. Basically, call a spade a spade. So didn't trade this one with the requisite precision, but we'll look to do a little bit better. GRR though, it looks like a great rounding kind of shape, looking like to take out that 39.62 high a day. It's at 39 right now on the ask. This one though, trouble. Not MLGO, that's break even. This one, ASTS. Now, I like the way that this one was setting up, especially into that $29 dip, but it wasn't forthcoming in the top break. It couldn't break that 75 penny area. It's still putting in higher low. So what I want to do is, because I got in a really small entry here after taking everything out, I'm going to look to DCA into this to defend that $29 area. So let's go ahead and do just that. I'm going to wait at the third of a dollar, see if we can get something in and around there. We probably won't have to wait that long, and then we'll wait as well at near that whole dollar there. So I'm going to wait at 10s, see if we can get something in and around there. In case it spikes up to the high side without printing me or printing my dip trades here to the low side, I've set up a couple of beak wetters through the high of the day. I'm talking about ASTS. Fantastic look today for this name. Directional and strong in a day where it was hard to come by those names. Up 14 and 2/3 for now. Underline that for now. Keeping an eye on MLGO. We're about 3 pennies or so out of the money on this one. It's going to have to hold the high or low situation that it's been doing essentially all afternoon. If it doesn't, then why would I be in the trade? Because it's going to change the pattern, right? Into an upward channel, into whatever it manifests into. So MLGO in focus, ASTS in focus, and GRRR. If it comes back down into 38s or the 10 exponential moving average on GRRR, that's about 38.5. It could be an interesting buy because it's been quite respectful of that 10 EMA on the way up. Let's see what we get there, guys.
Yeah, good look there. So yeah, guys, let's see what we got going on. A lot of people in the chat are talking about IBIT itself. So let's take a look at it from a daily standpoint. So what happened was, I guess, over the weekend, we have this massive gap up in this underlying here, but then, again, previous gap down, but then we just fill it, right? So that gap was filled and then rejected immediately, so we open up right at the bottom of that range and then continue to sell. So take into consideration where we closed yesterday and then where we open up this morning. So again, we just filled the gap and then now hovering around those gap highs. So keep that in mind. Trading really well is IBIT. I'm not going to trade it up here, take it up here. But surprisingly, it is still negative on the session, guys. Down about 1/3 there. So not looking too good here for that Bitcoin space. I do want it to hold those key levels. There was a hammer candle there that was printed, but it just doesn't respect it, kind of like equities do. So you have to take that into consideration as well too. So, but again, here we go, climbing higher and higher. I hope this one works out. I'm not in it, but I hope it starts to recover anyways, and maybe we can get into those mid-90s once again, and then go north of that. I want to start to participate in TSLA again, Tesla. But I don't want to chase it up here. I missed the bottom of the range once again. And then it now looks like we're going to go and pass this previous pivot here, sitting around 275, just a little bit below that. So again, if it breaks through that with momentum and volume, then we'll look to participate there. But you can see that the volume is starting to stair step down as well too. So maybe a pull back into the bottom of the range, a little liquidity grab, and then you can continue higher. So yeah, guys, let me know what you're looking at in the chat, and we'll be sure to go over those things. If you have any earnings questions, expected moves, etc., options questions, put them in there. I'll do my best that I can to answer them. Los Pollos Hermanos says hammer candle forming on Nvidia daily time frame. Perhaps today the bottom if the hammer stays at a close. I like the way you're thinking there, Los Pollos. Let's take a look from a daily perspective. I don't see it, Los Pollos. I mean, this is a nice candle here, a nice strong bullish candle, but I don't see the hammer that you're referring to that's closing as, because it's just not there, right? If you don't want to force it, we can go look at some other examples. Again, this is more like a shooting star doji. You can classify it as a hammer, but again, you want to see a little bit longer of a wick. Here's somewhat of a hammer here. This is what you want the print to look like, right? Or like this, we can classify this specific one as a hammer as well too. But this one, I think, is just a really good, strong candle here. That's a genuine move. The volume is supporting it. A nice, I'm not going to call it engulfing, but a nice pure bullish candle there on the daily as of right now for NVDA. If we were to close down here and then head a little bit lower, then yeah, then we can do that for sure. So we can classify it as that. Mel is asking, okay, she's here. She's very much here. So there you go.
What are you talking about?
Someone
Adara?
says, where is Adara? She's
there.
Yeah, she's here. She's very much here. Joe W. made you look. Okay, some weird stuff going on. I
have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea. So idea on VNet support levels, barefoot.
Do a page in my rhyme book. Remember that, Nas?
No.
Made you look. No?
No.
Come on now.
Come on, man.
Adira?
I only know
Help me out?
New York State of Mind. New York State of Mind is my favorite Nas track there. But here we go. Let's take a look.
What's your favorite album? Street Disciple?
From Nas himself? No, I'm not really into him like that. No,
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
no, yeah. No, I don't.
He has no opinion.
Yeah, I
Adira.
told you. To be honest
He's
with you.
very upset.
Yeah, I could tell.
Okay,
I'm trying to think.
honestly, my favorite Nas, I love It Was Written, which is super, I guess, old hat or cliched, but I love It Was Written. Illmatic is amazing, but
Illmatic.
King's Disease,
Yeah, there we go. Illmatic.
King's
There we
Disease
go.
from 2020 is an underrated banger. King's Disease. Check it out.
Underrated banger. Okay.
There it is, Adira. Spoken. Get it, Adira. Yeah, look, I mean, it's...
You might. You know what my great aunt, God bless her soul, the first album I ever received was a Swollen Members.
No
album.
way.
Yeah, Swollen Members.
Why did she get you that?
I don't know. I was a kid. Swollen Members. Yeah,
said, whatever, I don't hate on that at all.
That was the first rap
Neil
album
likes
I ever had. Yeah, I'll never forget it. I was
Is that the first CD you ever had?
The first CD I had,
That's
yeah, and I had this big blue boombox, and I used to walk around the cul-de-sac and put it out the thing that's into Swollen
That's
Members. I had no
amazing,
idea
bro.
what they were talking
Love
about or
that.
anything along those lines.
Whatever.
And then the Eminem
Good
show,
good
and then
times,
Get Rich or Die Trying. But here, VNet, back into the market there, guys. Let's see what we got. We're looking for support levels. Someone asked me in this. And we're going to go right here, all right? It's not overly standout-ish, but we want to take a look at these hammer candles and where we reject. So essentially what happens in this candle is that you push the print all the way down here into these levels, and then you push it back up. So maybe this is some form of support. But again, here we have a peak, and then now we're trading down about 50% off of those highs, which isn't a really good look, but we can continue to move higher. What's going on here?
Nothing.
Okay, it's all right. All right, I see how it is, man. A little inside joke there.
I'm just trolling her in the chat, bro. That's what I do.
All right, that's a troll job.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay, man. Down 45% off those highs. You can interrupt me at any time, but 45% off those highs. Looking for that bounce there. That's the next support level. If you breach that, then this is where you want to get into that consolidation phase. And at that point, it's not really looking too good.
All right, here's the deal. We're back involved in Astis here. Where are we long? 42s. I wet the beak there at 60s. It's back into 42s. I still have my play in DCA to DCA and defend that $29 area that I perceive to be an area of support. So we'll watch and see whether that holds up or not. I should tell you guys I'm not involved in GRR at the moment, but it is back into that 20 exponential moving average. The area, okay, it's not on here, so I have to show it to you on this. This area has been been respected by GRRR. Hold, and we'll see. This one held. Let's see if this one holds. So the 20 is the yellow line. It's being defended here by GRRR on the day. We'll see if that, that trend continues. It's still putting in higher lows. If you're basing the area trough off the moves into the 20 exponential. Finally, what's this one's name? MLGO popping up over here. Let's see if we can wet the beak. We got some share, a little more, not shares, but we got some decent size on this one. Nice going into 20 on MLGO. I've been waiting at 25. That's probably not the right idea. Let's wait more here at 20 to de-risk and see if we can get something more into 25s on this bad boy. So MLGO generally comes back in and tests that 410 area. And I'm not going to lie, it dipped into 405, okay? But it didn't cross 405, hence why I still have a dip trade there that's going unfilled. It's showing me 20s on the ask. I'm waiting at 20s, but it's showing me 17s on the bid. So likely going to have to wait a little bit more on this one to get the fill. Packing my patience on MLGO. Let's go back to Astis over here and see what's afoot. Now I'm waiting here at 60, where are we waiting? We're not waiting at 69s on this one, are we? No, we're waiting at 65s. This one's having a whole lot of trouble with the whole dollar. I'm talking about ASTS, not really sure why, but the half dollar, excuse me, not the whole dollar. It's having trouble with that 50 penny area. Let's see if it can weasel on up to 60. It's showing me 57s right now on the ask, 53 on the bid. There it is. It's in the 60s, not crossing. Let's wait a little bit longer over here. Can we get the print? Show me the print, bro. We're not getting the print. There's the print. Nice move to the high side. Now we're about 30 pennies in the money, long 33s. Let's see if we can get that print at 80 right now on Astis. Good move up, 75 HOD on ASTS. So we're no, actually, we're not front running it. We're presuming that our next print takes out the high. And I'm seeing MLGO take out levels as well. There we go. We get the print at 22s. Now it's showing me, what is she showing me? 22s. Now I'm waiting at 24s here on MLGO, up 10%. Not by much though. So we're going to pack our patience right now. MLGO, ASTS, both in focus. Despite the fact that GR has been the big boy winner on the day, it's still defending that 20 exponential, which is now overlapping with the whole dollar level. I'm talking about 38s. As you see over here, we did defend 38 on the intraday basis. On the 5, I should say, excuse me, we dipped down into 38 in this red candle we hold, and this current candle has a low of 38. We'll see if that holds or not. GR. Good luck on the day, Jose.
Yeah. I missed the entry on. Whoa.
Sorry, I told someone I would review something for them before I went to the bathroom. Let me just scroll back up there and see who it was. It was Cameron Lum. He said, can you check the RUT for me? Sorry, Joseph, to interrupt you. Let me just have a look at that for Cameron. RUT. So we're talking about the Russell. Okay. So we already kind of did a little bit of a review. Wow, the Russell's only down 0.7. Dude, this thing was down 2.5. What a recovery. Okay, let's show it, Rammer. Say that. The NASDAQ, it's almost continuing. Yeah. Your point well taken. RTY. Let's look at the Russell futures. We'll go future and we'll go March. Yeah, that's a nice recovery there on the Russ, man. I mean, we were definitely at lows. We talked about that triple bottom, 2050. Now we're almost at the 100-point area. I mean, we're up. The highs there are 94, so we could see 2100 realistically. That'll keep us negative on the day, believe it or not. We got to get above 2100 to go positive, 2105. So we still have some stuff to recover from, but I don't have a trade on the Russ. I know Adara used to look at the IWM a lot. Maybe she can chime in when we go back up to her, but I there's really nothing for me here unless we get into that 2100. And even above 2100, we're still looking at resistance with yesterday's closing print at 2105. Sorry, couldn't help there, Cameron. I don't usually trade the Russ either. Let me know how it goes, though, my man. If tag me there, let me know what the situation is. Joseph,
yes,
we're almost at the high of the day on Astis. We're showing 75s. That is the high of the day. I'm waiting at 80s. Let's see if we can get, so we're getting 76s now on the ask. So the bid's moving up here, 70 on the bid. Bit of a spread. Likely going to reject a couple of times before we take out the level. So ASTS 29.75, high a day. I'm waiting at 80s. We'll see what comes. We get the print, we don't. We're going to take some more out here. Joseph on MLGO at 18. What do you got?
Yeah, good luck there, my friend. I was going to go over something, but it jogged my memory now. So I'll figure it out once I get to talking. But we were going to get into some TSLL, but that entry has now passed us. So a nice break. The market really starting to put in a nice recovery. So, but Tesla's still down 4%, right? So this is the 2-to-1 leverage. So about half of that. We can pull up the actual underlying asset and see what we got kicking up here. And yeah, there we go, down 3.8% on the day, guys. So yeah, tough luck. And then somebody in the chat said, why is the market bouncing today? Well, none of us really know the actual answer, but you can somewhat gauge it as maybe an oversold bounce, right? Like, considering how much selling we've gone through and the aggressive selling, just a little bit of a cover rally. Unfortunately, we just can't completely capitulate and then go to zero. You get those bounces, the ebbs and flows of the market, as you would like to call it. But yeah, let's pull up some IBIT because I think that's going to be one of the better trades of the day. And it's unfortunate that we missed out on it. Just turning positive, up about 1/10 there, 2/5, sorry guys. And now the momentum is really starting to pick up here. Look at that volume really kick in here, guys. Let's phase out some of these orders here and just put our quote highlight somewhat higher just so we can see if there's somewhat of an imbalance on the level 2. And yeah, it's still relatively balanced. So nothing really distinctive there, guys, that says, hey, we're going to continue to climb higher from the level 2, right? It can be misleading, but a nice balanced level 2. If we're going to filter it a little bit more, then maybe you can see the disparity on that front. So yeah, really nice look here. Breaking through the high a day once again is Bitcoin. So I mentioned this time and time again is that you can see when this name is going to put in some, like that $10,000 day, and that happened on Sunday, I believe it was. So this is Sunday. We pushed as low. Well, I guess it's not Sunday because this is BTC, but we pushed as low as about like, that's an incorrect print, but we went low as like 70 something or 80 something, I believe it was. And then we went as high as 95.
Yeah, I got that crap too.
Yeah, you got that 5? Yeah. So it was around like 85, and then we pushed to as high as a 95, right? Even in this day, we went from 83 to 94. So it's nothing for this asset to put in a $10,000 day. We just need some positive catalysts up under it. All right, guys. So just keep that in mind. Let's see what everybody else is looking at here. Just to get a gauge what the chat is thinking about. Yes, Bitcoin can break recent support around 78. So some people are still slightly bearish on Bitcoin. Let me know in the chat. Are you guys bullish or bearish on Bitcoin, especially with the tweet from Donald Trump coming on Sunday? Just let me know, bullish or bearish, type it in the chat. Yeah. And I want to see what everybody else has to say, right? Because that tweet and the reserve, there's supposed to be more talks about it on Friday.
We're going to have, I don't know if there's going to be a gala or what the situation is. I don't even think we know the time for that on Friday. Whether it's going to be during market hours or after, it's a Friday, right? So I don't know if he's doing something after the bell,
after the bell, or do something after the bell, like he did on Sunday, right? When he right. So
we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, you better believe the entire crypto world is going to be listing now. It's going to be, I was reading a really interesting article about this. If he starts buying Bitcoin legit, and I know he wants to put other cryptocurrencies in there, but if he actually starts buying a real substantial amount of Bitcoin, it's going to be the sovereign FOMO I was reading, where other, sovereign wealth funds, central banks, whatever, central governments want to kind of get in on the action because they see the U.S. doing it. So it's going to be a FOMO trade here rather than anything based on...
It can be, absolutely.
That's what people are predicting. Whether or not that happens, an entirely different story. But people are saying, you see the U.S. doing it. But then to me, the other side of the question is the U.S. is alienating a lot of countries right now. Let's call a spade, bro. These tariffs are irking people in many different countries. Not just Canada. There's Mexico. There's reciprocal tariffs coming on, I think, all countries in early April. There's going to be like, if you have tariffs on us, we're slapping tariffs back on you for the equal amount. That's going to annoy a lot of people. Is there going to be that, desire to want to follow what the U.S. is doing, or is there going to be kind of that repulsion a little bit?
You can do whatever you want to do because, that's a good question, Sharif. And to be honest with you, I don't know necessarily how to answer that. The FOMO aspect, I can see that happening. Yeah, totally. Well, and it's funny. So, you know how China and the U.S. are head-to-head competitors, whatever it be, on essentially every scale and spectrum that you can put it to. Yep. Do you think that changes any of China's regulations against Bitcoin?
Huh, that's interesting. So I remember they had a couple of different regulations in the past few years. I mean, I know they kind of outlawed mining.
Right, so all the Bitcoin miners moved to Texas or whatever it may be.
I heard a lot of are in Kazakhstan and stuff like that
so
because
there you
it's
go.
cheaper energy. I don't know if that's true or not, but
do you think so? If something big happens with Bitcoin,
bro.
do you think that China reverses of what they went on before?
I don't know, man. That's one beyond my pay grade, I guess. I don't know enough about what China has been feeling or thinking or saying about Bitcoin lately to make an educated guess in that regard. Maybe the chat has some opinions on that. You know what I mean? But yeah, the whole thing. What I was thinking about is, does the rest of the world, if the strategic crypto reserve really does take off, do they follow? Just based on the recent events.
There will
Typically,
be,
you'd think they would follow.
Yeah, there would be some countries, I think, at some point would be like, oh, okay, if these guys are doing it, they're a world leader, so we kind of we got to follow what the world leaders are doing to stay in the game at least. So.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You're digging yourself a bit of a hole. It's like I'm gonna save up all these trolling incidents, and then I'm gonna
did it again.
One day. You're gonna find yourself in a very precarious position, Ram.
You're gonna eat all your chocolate.
That's a least of it.
Least. Yeah.
She can just buy more with daddy's money, right? Here we go. We're taking out the highs there. We're taking out the highs there on ASTS.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Into that 30, 33. I wet the beak there at 80s, feeling awfully silly. Always taking off too much too quickly. This is breaking out. Here comes 30, 50 right now on ASTS. It's up almost 20%. The $0.50 in focus right now. This one, from my recollection, I think we do have a bit of a higher short float on this one. Yes, about 30%, 29.66. Now that could be a couple of weeks old, guys. With 14 days being the possible delay on the short interest there. But this is a nice breakout right now on ASTS. Let's see how high or how aggressively this can get to the high side. Make sure you're doing your charting on the daily to anticipate those areas of resistance, but it's a good breakout right now on ASTS. Now I'm going to keep my focus on MLGO. I've been waiting at 21s to wet the beak. It doesn't look like it's going to get wet there, so we'll possibly take out some there at 18s, which is what we've been doing for the most part right now, because MLGO, technically, this is a lower high. So area high to the high a day of 442, then we have a rejection of the quarter dollar, and now we're having a rejection of a random area at around 22. So the point is, though, it's a lower high. But that's the bad side. What's the good side? We're putting in higher lows, Joseph. So 385 low, then 4 low, then a 405 low. So compression pattern right now on MLGO, a wider looking compression pattern. That is no question about it. ASTS continues to go to the high side, taking out the $0.50. Like, don't even matter. Now we're at 2/3. Could we see 3/4? I'm going to get into my auctioneer mode, baby. Now we're showing almost 70s right now. 70s ain't coming right now on ASTS. It feels like 70s are going to be gone in a minute, and we're going to be looking at that $31.
Can you get 31s? Can we get 31s here?
I love that. Ram's chiming in. Okay, Ram.
Yeah.
Okay, I see you. Shout out to Gorev. Thanks for Sharif and Joe for another amazing midday show. No, you're the amazing viewer. Shout out to the OG Gorev. SPF Joe. Team Ram, bro. She trolls from the shadow. Ram's got the supporters. Shout out. Yeah, we're not going to hate on Ram. Join my shadow. Okay. What else we got there in the chat? What do you have?
No, there's someone saying XRP, because your boy, I told you, I'm going to take a look at it. Continue with your one. I'm going to pull up XRP. We don't got
Let's see what James Choi is talking about BA, and Nadera was telling us about Boeing before we started the show, if you recall. So let's have a look at how Boeing is doing on the day. Recovering certainly off that 157-ish low of the day. It's about $162, but off that local area top at 162.57. I mean, it's putting in higher highs and higher lows, so the trend is to the high side here. It's got to get above 170 to go green on the day. I have my doubts about that, Joseph, but a decent recovery above VWAP, above the 20, trying to dance with the 10 at the moment. Let's see if it can take out that 162.50 area. But guess what time it is, bro?
What time is it?
Just going to give you one guess.
It's not 2 o'clock, is it? Oh, my
It is now past 2 o'clock. Let's see what Zai here has to say. China has strict capital controls to prevent large sums of money from flowing out of the country, and using Bitcoin as a reserve asset would make it easier for individuals to bypass. That does make sense. I know Egypt has the same rules. They don't want people storing their value in something like Bitcoin. They want you to hold Egyptian pounds so that it can inflate and then it can be worth nothing. Shout out to an awesomely run country. In that case, we're going to send you over to the big boys. Peace.
What up, everybody?
What up?
We are back. Oh, is there something on Reddit? No, it's not. It's not big news. It doesn't sound like a gigantic